and welcome to the second round of the International Isle of Man Chess Tournament, sponsored by Chess.com and the Scheinberg family. I am Fiona Steil-Antoni, and with me is Grandmaster Simon Williams. How are you today, Simon?
I'm very good, Fiona. Having a lovely time in the Isle of Man in some beautiful weather.
It's a beautiful day, it's sunny.
It's a fantastic day, and we had a lovely meal yesterday, so with plenty of other interesting characters, so it's all going well.
It is. Talking about the chess, we wrapped up the show yesterday with only 3 games to go on the live boards, but there was a big surprise on one of those which remained.
There was indeed, yeah. I mean, probably the upset of the day yesterday was the game between Wang Hou and Elizabeth Patz's dad, Thomas Patz. And when we left that game, I thought that Thomas Patz was losing, but then Fiona pointed out that he was two pawns up. And in the end, there was a major upset. So Elizabeth Patz's father, Thomas Patz, managed to win that game.
I think maybe a classical case of over-pushing. I
think so, yeah. I think missed a couple of opportunities, and he probably was doing well. But yeah, as you say, overpressed. And then Thomas Patz is very, very good GM, had a lot of experience, was able to counter-punch against him. So that was the major upset of the day, really.
And today we already have some big clashes on the top boards, so let's go straight to the pairings and see what awaits us. Women players in the world, and on board 3 Vishnu against Nakamura. And then a bit lower down we have one game we're also looking forward to, and that's Lawrence Trent against Alexei Shirov.
Certainly, and that's Lawrence Trent, who is, if you don't know at home, you should do. He's basically the manager of Fabiano Caruana. We were kind of hoping that they'd play against each other. That would have been amazing. But that's going to be very interesting. Lawrence is a talented player. He's dangerous with the white pieces. I mean,
he's making his comeback. He had announced his retirement. He's now back at the board. So we'll see.
Yeah, he seems to announce his retirement every time he has a bad tournament. But that's the same with a lot of players. So, but it's going to be a very interesting game.
And then a last pairing I would like to highlight is the second last from the bottom there. It's going to be a tough day at the office pronouncing this name.
Do you want me to have a go?
Have a go.
Praggnanandhaa.
Seems like a decent first try.
That's not bad for me. I think I'm pretty proud of that one, actually. So, can we just call him Prag for now, or maybe practical Prag? But what about this player? What do you know about this guy?
He's 11 years old, and he is the youngest IM in history. He made his IM title at the very tender age of 10 years and 10 months. And he's facing women's world champion Hou Yifan, who we had the pleasure of having in the studio with us here yesterday. So that is a game I'm very much looking forward to as well.
Before we move on, maybe we could just mention some of the scores that these players have had already up to this point. So Hou-Yifan has drawn with Wesley So on the one occasion they've played. And it's maybe interesting to mention that Caruana, when Caruana's faced Shirov, he's, I think, lost 3 games to Shirov and only defeated Shirov once. And now Caruana's manager is facing Shirov, so this would be good bragging rights, I think, for Lawrence, if he can pull off a win here. He might have to get Caruana to become his manager. I don't know, so it'd be interesting. Yeah, so it's going to be a great day of chess, definitely.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Should we go straight to it? Maybe start with the top board, Fabiano.
Okay, we can go to Fabiano, and this is a very interesting opening, of course, so just going to find the game now.
Just a tree higher up from where you are.
Okay, here we go, got lots of games to search now. So, Fabiano with the black pieces, and it's going to be...
You're already getting some stick for your pronunciation.
You know what, I just don't give a damn. So, you're going to have to put up with it, I'm afraid, and that's the way it goes. So, And okay, well, this is I mean, today is very interesting because the games are getting closer and the players are getting closer and closer and rating difference. You've got grandmasters against grandmasters, as we can see here, and the Indian players are really known to be quite underrated. So they could be some shocks today. And this game has started with D4 and now pawn to F5. And
have you ever played this over?
I have. I've played it a bit. I normally, actually though, I've only played the move F5 on about three times in my life.
Okay. Because
of White's next move. Now, what I tend to do in this position, I tend to go E6 first because I'm a French defence player, so I'm not worried if they go E4. I go into French. And then when they play a move, let's say C4, now I go into the Dutch defence. And I do this for a particular reason. And the particular reason is, after the move F5, Bishop G5 has always scared me. I lost a horrible game to my good friend Danny Gormali, who currently writes a very good blog. You should all check it out. Grandmaster Danny Gormali, and it was a very important game where I had black. And there was a funny story behind that. I'll just show you because it's a very interesting opening very quickly. I played H6 and I saved this novelty for Danny. In this position, E4, things get very crazy quickly. Threatening queen to H5, checkmate. And if knight to F6, then White has a move like E5. And I saved here the novelty rook to H7. And this is one of the weirdest moves, openings you will ever see. And I played this in a really important game. If I'd won this game, I'd have been European Union champion with Nigel Short. And the problem was, I actually forgot that about 5 days earlier, I was drinking with Danny and we're talking about chess, which is on the rare occasion, and I told him about this novelty when I forgot about it. I forgot I told him. I probably had one too many drinks. So I went out and banged out rook H7 and he immediately played a move and I thought, why is he moving so quickly? This is a big surprise. So anyway, I lost a big game there. This game has gone Bishop G5, G6. And well, I mean, one strategy here, which is known to be quite scary for black, and this is a move, a plan I often try when my opponent goes G6, is some idea with H4 at some moment, and it's not that stupid at all, because black's played two potentially weakening moves over here, G6 and H5, and the move H5 at some moment can be a very good move. You can also prepare this with E3 and then H4. So okay, I would like to have seen that, but White's gone knight to C3, and this has ideas sometimes of playing E4, Bishop G7, so not necessarily worrying about E4. E4 is a main move here, and there's been a number of games where this has been played, and generally black now plays D5. And White's got a slightly better structure, but it should be a little bit better for White. In this game, White's gone E3 immediately, and now D5. So I really, really hope, oh, please, please. Oh, he's done it. Yeah, yeah, I'm the happiest man in the world. Sorry, I got really excited
there. Let's update the board too, because we have some more moves that show the people why you're getting all excited. Okay,
well, you can probably guess why I'm getting excited. After D5, it is Harry time, H4. Harry, Harry the H-pawn is taking, and look, we just talked about this idea, and all credit to the Indian player. He's now become my favourite player in the tournament, and he's gone H4, and it's quite a logical idea. It really is. When your opponent goes G6, you want to attack that pawn structure with H5, and you may think that knight H6 stops this, but there's a lot of maybe to be said for H5 anyway. And if knight takes H5, you could even consider some sacrifice like this, because this kind of stuff's been played before. When the black king has to move, you lose castling rights, and there's a lot of holes in the black position. So I really like the move H4. So this is already a great start to the game. Really excited about this one. I'm
also quite happy about this.
Yeah, definitely.
Yesterday we didn't see Harry.
I know.
In a starring role in the
Harry was asleep.
Early moves. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got Harry going today.
On top board.
On top board as well. Yeah, definitely. Brilliant stuff.
So next up, we'll show you a little tweet from a friend of ours, and that's Dan. And Dan tweeted yesterday, he tweeted a photo. He's very good with
he's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant. I mean, this guy Dan,
he's definitely worth a follow. I've said this before.
Definitely. I mean, he doesn't have many followers on Twitter, Dan Anton, and you can see his handle is Anton Squared Me. But he does some great pictures, and he's got great pictures of chess players, not just Lawrence, should I say? But Lawrence is. You can see there that Dan's added a nice little tattoo to his arm. So look at it, Fabi, and yeah, we should have tried to trick people that actually Lawrence got this done, shouldn't we?
Well, Dan, I was actually speaking to Dan recently. I don't know if you saw the photo he posted of Bobby Fischer.
Yeah.
Bobby Fischer sitting on the ground with a Mac laptop and the Starbucks cup and Beats, Dre Beats headphones on.
I saw this one.
And Dan told me he got an incredible number. There we go. There it is.
Wow.
And he said he's got an incredible number of people messaging, saying, telling him this was wrong.
I know. This is just crazy. I mean, how many? Can we be rude? How many? I'm going to be rude. How many stupid people are in the world? I mean, like, people are telling Dan that picture's not factually correct. That's the whole point. He's got a Mac Airbook. When did that come out? Not in 1972.
And just our producers are telling us the original photo is by the famous photographer Richard Benson, and the Photoshop, the editing is done by Dan. And so he does post some very funny stuff, and
definitely, I think he deserves a lot of credit, doesn't he? And people should follow him, check out his work, and he does stuff like that with Starbucks and the headphones. So it's not a factually correct photo. That's the point.
So shall we see how Lawrence is getting on?
Let's do it. Let's go over to Lawrence, and well, he is playing one of my favourite players, Shirov. So this is going to be very interesting, and it started with the Spanish Raul Lopez, Bishop B5. Shirov, not the kind of character to start playing the Berlin, you know, but I mean, the day Shirov plays the Berlin is the day that we should all give up chess, because, you know, Shirov is a very exciting player. At saying that, he did play the exchange King's Indian Defense yesterday from the white side, which I think his opponent was quite shocked about. So was I. Maybe he's getting old. We all get old, don't we?
Yeah.
Old and senile and stuff. So okay, A6, and now Bishop to A4, Knight to F6. So this is one of the first openings that every player should learn. I say that, I've never actually learnt it very well, because I've never really played E4 and this opening. I've always played the King's Gambit or other openings. Castles, and now Bishop to E7. Now Shirov's main move here, which he did the DVD on, I believe is a setup with B5 at some point, so here. Bishop B3, and now Bishop C5. This is what Shirov is much more well known for. I think it's called the Archangel, or is it something else? Maybe. No? Okay, all right.
We've never been big on opening these, but I think it's very possible.
Something like we could just be making up names, just giving people false information. But names are not that important as well. I always find it weird how chess players get carried away with opening names, and I have a lot of people coming up to me and saying, what's the name of this opening? What's the name of that opening? It doesn't really matter, does it? I mean, why should it matter as long as you know the ideas behind the opening? And Bishop C5. So I expect after Bishop E7, Lawrence may now be having a think, because he did not expect this move. So
yeah, I think we're just having trouble getting a few moves today, which is why we should maybe go back to one of the top boards. Then at least you can see the players on camera, and I'm sure it'll sort itself out very soon. But yeah, very standard opening here. No fireworks yet, but hopefully later. But
you could certainly, you get very attacking in middle games in this position anyway, so we can look forward to that. Should we go through 2-3?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the board 2 encounter between Wesley So and Harika Dronavali. Okay. So let's go there.
Let's go over to that one. So this kind of looks like a... Okay, this is interesting. Well, okay, we don't have any moves there. We can see that we need to have an update here, and we'll get this update very soon, so don't worry. But what I can see is, okay, it started with Harika playing the Sicilian with knight to c6. I actually played Hou here last year in this competition, because I played last year.
I'm getting very excited because it looks like some kind of Grand Prix.
I was going to say Grand Prix.
Yeah.
We both played the Grand Prix, don't we, actually? So, yeah.
So I'm not sure if knight f3 was really played, because...
Well, I'm guessing the way the opening may have gone. Knight c3 and now e5 at some moment, and white's got f4 in. So I'm not gonna guess the moves here, because it's very hard to say. But I think in this position, it's likely that I say I'm not going to guess. I can do a little guess that Hou played e5 and then something like bishop c4. And this is a standard line where white plays f4 later on. But again, we'll come to that. That's a really exciting game, because Hou is improving all the time. Like you say, she's one of the leading ladies players in the world. She's very ambitious, very determined. So, and it looks, just looking at the board there, that Wesley has sacrificed a pawn. He's incredibly well prepared though, Wesley, isn't he? Incredibly, he's got great preparation. I'm already thinking, why not knight h4 here? Even though we haven't got the electronic board up, knight h4 is already begging to be played there, surely. But anyway, let's see. We'll come back to that one. Okay, so let's move on to board 3, shall we? Hikaru. And Hikaru is here, black pieces. Is his opponent very young as well? Oh, look at that, Hikaru's thrown Harry.
I'm not sure. I don't think he's very young, but we'll have to wait for him to get back to the board
Sure,
to see.
Yeah, and well, so we have, like we mentioned before, it's really great in this tournament that we've got 3 of the top 10 players in the world playing.
Do you know how many of the top 10 players are playing at the Tal Memorial in Moscow at the moment?
I'm
asking you a trick question, because if you don't know, it means you haven't read Mike's report.
Oh, right, okay. God, you're already trying to trick me out with my homework. It's like being back at school again. So, is it by any? I was going to say 5, but now I think about it a bit more and recall what I read, because obviously I read all the reports and I have to do my homework. I think it might be 4. Was it 4? Was my memory serving me correctly?
No, I think your eyes are deceiving you.
How many was it then?
It's 3. It's the same number as here in the Isle of Man, which is quite funny.
But I think the more exciting thing about this tournament is that this is an open, and that's a closed tournament, and you get more exciting games in opens. I mean, closed tournaments, you get too many draws, so you have to win games in opens. And okay, well,
so let's see what happened here.
Sure. So Hikaru playing the Sicilian suits his style, aggressive move and aggressive opening, should I say. And white, Vishnu going for the open Sicilian with d4. So this is all standard stuff. And now Hikaru playing the Nyadorf Sicilian here with a6. And this is probably the best Sicilian, I mean,
it's good to see Hikaru, because in the closed tournaments, as we were just mentioning, he's been playing quite a few Berlins lately on the top level. So it's good, as you say, in open tournaments to see him play more
aggressively.
Aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, if we saw a Berlin today, that'd be much more disappointing than seeing this mainline Najdorf. And I mean, the Najdorf historically, this move a6, I guess is Bobby Fischer again was probably the main guy who made this popular. He played it all the time, the Najdorf, and he had some fantastic results for it. Even going back before Bobby Fischer, there's a guy called Podglieski, who was a leading expert theoretician in this, and then Kasparov basically copied Fischer's repertoire, and he started playing this. Nowadays, Topalov and MVL are the leading experts in the Najdorf. Maxime Vachier-Lagrave from France.
I'm just getting excited already, because I see Harry is not just staring on board 1, but he's all over the place today.
I know. If we can get him on board 2 as well. It'll be a day of Harry reigning. Harry's reigning. And when Harry reigns, he pours. Can we say that? Something like that. And I mean, the main idea of this is just later on, you start counterplay b5. It's as simple as that. Now, this move h3, again, it's really funny how opening trends develop. This move here, in the past, if you go back like 10 or 15 years, it was really not even mentioned in most main books. It was given as a little, maybe one sentence. Only in the last, well, really 5 years has this move h3 become popular. And now it's just the rage. Everyone seems to copy each other at the highest levels, which is, I think, I don't really like that idea. You know, that way. Why copy? But the idea is to go G4, and E5 is typical Najdorf main response. The knight comes back to E2, and now in order to stop this move G4, well, you don't have to stop it. I mean, you can. There's lines with B5 here immediately, but H5 here. It's Harry again. It's used in a slightly different way, should we say, to the board one encounter, because here it's more of a restraining move. You're just trying to restrain the pawn going to G4, because with this move, I think Black's trying to say the knight on E2 is bad. For example, if you go B5, quite often, or let's say a normal developing move like, I don't know, bishop E7, then G4. This is the kind of setup that white often goes for, I don't know, castles, and then at some point this knight can come to G3. It finds a good square. So H5 stops this idea, but it's also very double-edged, because Black will have to castle kingside. You can't castle queenside, it's too airy over there. And when you do castle kingside, you've weakened your king structure, and you've weakened the G5 square. Because if a piece goes to G5, it cannot be kicked away.
And we see Lawrence just in the background there, and out of our sight he goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, and now white played bishop E3, and if we look at the clock times on the video, I think Vishnu managed to catch Hikaru by surprise somewhere here, because the white player, Vishnu, hasn't spent any time. He's still on 140, and Hikaru has spent over 15 minutes already, so I'm not sure where the surprise came, but slightly surprising time situation, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, we have two more moves here, bishop E6, and here Vishnu has gone knight D5 straight away, and this is, well, the other knight can come to C3 now, and often again in Najdorf, when Black plays E5, it's about this highlighted square, the D5 square, because that's what we call an outpost. Black cannot kick that knight away with a pawn. So if White can control that square, he can get a good positional edge. And after this move, knight D5, well, I'm assuming Hikaru. First of all, you have to be careful. You don't want to play knight takes E4, because bishop B6 is White's trick here. And then knight C7 will come next when the end of the game is there. Now there's two ways you can play against this. You can either guard B6 by going knight D7, or you can eliminate this knight here. Normally you want to eliminate this knight. Maybe even bishop takes would be the move I'd first consider, and something like this. Then it's just, you know, early days really at the moment. So yeah, okay. So we'll come back to that one later on.
So let's move on. Let's check in with Mickey. We neglected Mickey a bit yesterday.
We did neglect Mickey, and Mickey certainly doesn't deserve to be neglected.
So he's white against Jan Christian Schröder, who's a teammate of mine in Luxembourg. He's just in the middle somewhere.
So many names to look from. Okay.
Up.
Got it. Okay. And is he German?
He's German. Okay. He's a very young grandmaster. He's only 18 years old.
Okay.
So he just finished high school last year. He's now taking some time off to play some chess, but a promising player.
It's funny how certain countries seem to like breed grandmasters. I mean, Germany, for example, they're going to have a great future in chess. They didn't do very well on the Olympiad, recently gone. But they've got so many young grandmasters. I mean, like, I've never heard of this guy Schroeder, and it's just one of many young players. I played a 11-year-old in the last tournament I played, Kamer, who is an incredibly strong player, and he was only 11 years old. So if you compared him to England, you know, England don't, I mean, have anyone under the age of 20 who's really going many places, as far as I can recall, unfortunately. I mean, you know. Yeah,
I was just going to say what is nice as well is that here in the background behind Mickey Adams and Jan Christian Schröder, we have Alexei Shirov against Lawrence Trent.
Yep.
So we'll be able to keep an eye on them as well.
Definitely. Okay, so let's have a look. E5. I'm just looking at the chat now as well, and I'm agreeing with one of the people in the chat on chess.com. We should remind you, if you want to leave your comments, get involved with the show, obviously type into the chat box www.chess.com/TV, or above the electronic board if you're on Twitter, #IOMChess, and we will try to, if you ask us questions on the Twitter, we will definitely try to make an effort to answer. But I think Adams is my pick to win this tournament. I'm going to go for Mickey as my, I think he's going to win this tournament.
Well, yesterday, didn't I? I said Wang Hao was one of my favourites, and he didn't get off to a great start.
Yeah, you bet on the only loser of the round yesterday. So
no, I'll pick. I don't want to jinx him, but I'll go with David.
Okay, well, so we're both going for the English people. Okay,
and
that's great.
There are only two English GMs in the tournament, actually.
Sure. Well, I mean, I really, I'd be extremely happy. Probably more happy than anyone else if David wins. Well, I'd like David to win more than anyone else.
It's a very biased choice because he's just one of my best friends. But there you go. If I have to choose someone,
David Howe is a good choice.
Yeah. Okay, let's see what happened in the opening here.
So
another Real Lopez.
Yeah, another Real Lopez, but this time Black does play this Archangel variation, as we said, which is Shirov's main choice: C3, B5, Bishop C2.
Oh, and they're on. I know. I thought Shirov played it today. I was going to say it's funny that they are playing the same opening on the.
He normally plays it, but not today.
Maybe he saw Jan-Christian Schröder next door playing it and thought, I'll play something else.
Well, maybe Shirov did think that, because maybe he thought...
then Lawrence could just copy Mickey.
Exactly, I was thinking that. Maybe he thought, we don't want Lawrence copying Mickey, and that's just the kind of cheeky thing Lawrence would do. He'd look, hang on a minute, we might as well therefore have Mickey versus Shirov. And that would be, he think, that'd be great. So I think, maybe Shirov did a very wise decision there. And actually, it was a famous, whoever heard of Derren Brown, the illusionist from England, he did a similar trick in a simul, to beat.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Okay, so D5, Black striking in the centre. This is seems like a very standard way of playing. And A4, a normal move, attacking the queen side. So again, very typical for this opening. But okay, already we're entering into tactics. D takes E4, and now pawn takes B5. Pawn takes F3, so this is already, incredibly complex. Queen takes F3.
Do you have any idea if this is all theory?
Yeah, it must be theory. It has to be theory. E4, and okay, Black at the moment a piece up. Bishop takes E4, Knight E2, and now
E5.
And now E5. Queen E2. That's the move I was looking for. Queen E2. And here, very interesting. I mean, Black has, Christian has played castles kingside, just leaving his rook there. I mean, seems like a very natural move, and he's going for some. I mean, this is the way. This is the way to try and beat Mickey. Yeah. There's absolutely no doubt about it.
We talked about this loads yesterday.
Yeah, especially against Mickey though, because Mickey is the spider. He's a great positional player. If you play long games against Mickey, he's probably just going to beat you by outmaneuvering you. So you've got to complicate. I remember Van Sokolov said the same. He's just got to try to complicate against them. If you do, you got. I mean, Mickey's a great calculator anyway, but this is really interesting position.
This is interesting. Okay, so let's have a look. If I take.
Yeah, sure. So if you take the rook,
because also if we look at the time situation, Jan Christian has been playing his moves rather quickly. So I guess he will have prepared this. There's no way you give up a rook if you haven't looked at this before. So what is his idea here?
Well, I guess it's at some point to play Bishop G4, something along those lines. But at the moment, there is a knight on pre. I mean,
you could start maybe with rook E8.
Yeah, I was thinking about the line rook E8, and now I think D4 is a move you have to consider. But now Bishop G4 and knight to F3 check is coming. But again, this is really hard to work out, and these guys better be well prepared here. Yeah. This is the kind of typical game you get nowadays, and it's often on the computer's assessment. And if F3 here, then knight takes F3. This is kind of, queen takes F3. You could give up the queen like this. I really don't know.
But what if I just remove
Bishop takes F3. I mean, something
this might be okay. But what if I just move my queen after Bishop G4?
Well, after bishop g4, if you move your queen, where do you move your queen to? This is a problem.
Let's say
c2. C2. Okay. And now, yeah, this is critical, definitely. This is a crazy position, but of course, if White can just take all the material, he will. And
maybe rook e8 wasn't great.
Maybe not, because
I can't really see a follow-up. No.
Okay, so let's go back. Bishop takes a8, and we need to. Knight. Is it knight d3? Is that what this is? This is a good move. Knight d3 is a much better move. Yeah. Okay, that must be a better move because that's a lovely square for that knight. It stops the d pawn from moving. You got bishop g4 coming. Even knight g4 starting a big attack. This is scary. This is actually quite scary. Knight d3. I mean, what does White play here? Because you can't, even though White's material up, these pieces cannot enter the game. Knight d3 is an excellent move, I think. For example, we could just show some of the dangers you could get. If you go pawn takes pawn here, winning another pawn and getting 2 squares away from queening, then maybe Black could, well, there's two very tempting choices. Bishop g4 is one tempting choice, but that'd be met by bishop f3. But I really like knight g4 here. Knight g4 looks really dangerous with the queen coming in and nasty things happening on f2.
Yeah, and in the chat, Old Chess Dog agrees with you, saying knight d3 looks crushing. Yeah,
yes, indeed. So, yeah, it looks very dangerous.
Looks very dangerous, and I'd be very surprised if Mickey took the rook on a8.
Well, if he doesn't take the rook, then I expect he will play d4 because he's a piece down. He needs to get his piece back. So d4 will be the move I expect we see. But I'm surprised, you know, it's kind of worrying that he's taken a bit of time there because it's kind of.
I mean, he's obviously been caught by surprise.
Yeah, he's maybe trying to remember his theory because the line he's played is very sharp with White. So you've got to expect Black is going to play these natural moves.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay.
And there was also one comment by Right Raven X in the chat. Out of all the games so far that you're covering, have you seen one recurring opening over others? I think today we're very lucky with seeing a variety of very interesting games. Yesterday we saw quite a few Queen's Gambit declined.
Queen's Gambit exchange variation. We had exchange on d5.
Yeah, anyway, we had a lot of Queen Gambits. They weren't all exchange, but yeah, a lot of Queen Gambits yesterday. Today,
I think we had 3 of the top 5 boards were Queen's Gambit.
They were all exchange.
Taken on d5 in that position. But Queen's Gambit. But today we got loads of e4s.
Today we have lots of exciting stuff. So let's go back to board number 2, where apparently Wesley So is already taking the upper hand.
So did he play knight? I told you, knight h4. I could even see this when I can't see the board. I am telepathic. Yeah, great. And okay, well, this is okay. So e5 was played, and I mean, I don't know what Harika's doing here, I'll be honest. Bishop c4, bishop e7, d3, all standard stuff, and there's a massive hole on d5 here, so White often plays around that. Knight f6. Now, there's 2 ways you can play this as White. Wesley's played the more aggressive way with castling. The other way that a lot of players have played this is to go knight d2 here. This is a weird looking maneuver, but it makes a lot of positional sense because that knight is going to f1 to e3 and then into the outpost. Again, it's a central outpost, a bit like Hikaru's game, where there's one square, the d5 square. You want to put your pieces on that square. So that's the positional approach, but castles is the more aggressive approach. Castles, and now knight g5. And this is an attempt at a direct refutation of Black's setup here. You're getting ready for the f-pawn to move. h6 and now f4. Again, this is actually a standard idea. I mean, it might look crazy to people, but once you've seen this idea once, you should remember it. And the point is here, well, okay, White took on f4, but if you do capture this piece, then Black can get in serious problems on f7. For example, knight to, well, h7 is asking for it, but e8 probably just as bad because you're going g6 here, and it's probably just game over here, I'd imagine, at some point. Maybe even queen h5 first, but this kind of idea with immediate disaster going on there.
Also immediate disaster on h7 after queen h5.
Queen h5 as well, yeah. So pawn takes f4, and now the knight comes back, and you get kind of a king's gambit position here, but Black's played this rather ugly c5 move. bishop d6. Now this looks it's quite a greedy move, because now knight h4, and the bishop has gone back to b8, because that knight is certainly considering coming into f5 here. And just on the surface of this, it looks very risky for black.
It does look very ugly, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you love the Grand Prix, and this is very similar, isn't it?
It is similar, yes.
Yeah. So, what can white do here? White can do a lot of things. I mean, I guess Hou's idea is if knight to f5, she's going to play something with d5. That must be her idea. To try, you can't let that knight sit on f5 for a long duration. You've got to try eliminate it. So that must be the main idea that Hou has here. I mean, is the other idea, if you go bishop takes f4, just getting your pawn back, is Hou really going to go bishop takes bishop and g5? I mean, I don't know, even maybe.
I'm wondering, I was wondering if I could go knight f5, but it might be a bit too much, because my queen doesn't really have any squares to come in.
Yeah. Maybe black can get away with this. Maybe. Yeah.
It looks very... Maybe I can... I was wondering if I could just take on f6, play knight d5. I have a lot of pieces.
You do, yeah. I thought this is a check though. You probably have to move this knight first.
Yeah. Okay.
You can go knight f5 now.
Yep.
Actually, because if d5, I take with the knight now and I cover this square, and the queen's coming over.
And we're just an exchange down. I think this is looking quite promising for
Yeah, this is. I like this. Yeah, really good active play here. With as you
especially after knight d5, you can't go to g6 because of knight e7.
Bang.
So I like this for white.
I like it a lot as well. And you got this queen coming to h5 as well. Black can't go queen g6 because you just take it because of the pin on the f pawn. So yeah, this might be the way to play. Yeah, good plan. Okay. Well,
so what did she do?
We're waiting for Wesley's move here. After bishop to b8, we're just waiting to see what Wesley will play here. There's probably other options, of course. Well, you know, and Hou looking fairly confident though by walking around, you know, and she's got her chocolate bar there, energy, and we'll come back to this one, shall we? A bit later on.
So let's go to Arkady Naiditsch. We didn't look at his game yesterday at all. There's so many good games here that it's hard to cover all of them. He's on board 8 and he's playing Martin Sumzande, also from, well, I was going to say also from Germany, but then Arkady is not from Germany any longer. So
Arkady, of course, used to be from Germany, but he moved to Azerbaijan and he lives in Baku now with his wife, who's also
playing here.
Yeah. And she's improved a lot, actually, his wife, maybe 100 points. So do you think it helps you if you you marry a strong player? Do you think your elo is naturally going to go up if you don't think so?
No, I think it depends on, I think a lot of, depends on if you look at chess together or not. I think a lot of couples, even if they get married, doesn't mean they're going to start working on chess together.
No, that's true,
Yeah.
And what about our experience? Your experience? Do you look at chess? Have you?
No.
Okay, no. I don't look at chess either.
I mean, if you're in I think if you're in a relationship with a chess player, there's a lot of chess already.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So you don't want to in your spare time. Or at least chess. I wouldn't want to.
No, definitely. Otherwise you just have chess pouring out of your ears.
Yeah, it's just overload.
There's other things to do as well as chess. There's a time and place for chess.
And there's a time and place for other things.
Indeed.
So let's see what happened.
Okay, so we have Arkady with the white pieces playing a pretty tame-ish, I think, start to the game. Just this kind of Reti-like system where you fianchetto, and you can continue this either with two plans, either with a c4 idea, which is going to transpose into sort of a Catalan English, and the other way of playing it is the way that Arkady has seems played it here. So e6, castles, bishop e7. And now d3, c5, this is all very normal, knight b d2. And it's really like reverse King's Indian now, King's Indian defense. So you can imagine this setup white's played, you could reverse it, black plays this often against d4. And this was something else that Bobby Fischer used to play himself. And knight c6, e4. And now actually you've transposed to a French defense. You can get this by the French defence by going 1 e4, e6. So let me just show you that quickly. I mean, again, you need to be aware of transpositions when you're starting out in chess. So if you play e4 after e6, you can get the same thing for a French defence. Very normally here, d5, knight d2. And this is the more common way of getting the position we see here after 7 moves with e4. I've played this numerous times with black. I actually quite like White's setup here. And Bobby was a real expert in this. Again, we talked about his book, Bobby Fischer's most memorable 60 games. And he's got some great games with this setup in that book. And also, if you're looking for an easy opening to learn as White, where you don't have to learn much theory, you can just play the same thing. This is good for lazy players. This is good for lazy players. So you just do the same moves. Castles, rook e1. White's main idea is to plant a pawn on the e5 square. b5, black has to create counterplay over on the queen side. e5, knight d7, and now we see a just very typical plan here, knight to f1. And this bishop comes here, and of course Harry plays a very important role. This pawn is used, as you said yesterday, Fiona. You remember you said this plan yesterday in a game against the French, which it was the game Wesley So as black against, I can't remember who.
Against Marina Brunello.
That's right, yeah. I think you were just eager to get Harry throwing up the ball, weren't you?
Well, so he's coming.
He is coming.
I see he's coming.
Indeed, yeah. So a5, h4. And again, black's pushing on the queen side, white on the king side. Much more fun to attack on the king side. Knight h2, and this knight wants to come into one of these two squares. Bishop a6, knight g4, so we see it hopping in. a4, h5, knight d4, and now knight takes d4, pawn takes d4, h6, so we can see that Harry has now moved all the way up there, and black is now forced to make a pawn move in front of his king. g6 is the best way to keep it closed, but now you do weaken this square on f6. And I think it was in his 60 memorable games that Bobby Fischer said that if you just play a move with, it was either a3 or b3.
I think he suggested a3.
He said a3. Bobby Fischer said a3 was a good way to stop this advance of blacks, but b3 also looks like a very natural move, and it's kind of like, well, both sides have weaknesses. I mean, this square now is a weakness, and black can try and triple, double everything on the c file. On the other hand, white is going to try and take advantage of this, you know, somehow. So yeah, it should be interesting.
An interesting game.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back to Adams. I think we had a development there. So Mickey, when we left him, was thinking whether he could take the rook on a8 or...
Very interesting, yeah.
And I see the rook on a8 is still on the board. We're just trying to find the game.
There he is.
There he is.
I'm sure I'm going to lose my eyesight at the end of this. I'm just like, go cross-eyed looking at all those boards. Okay, yeah, I think that's a very wise decision, don't you, Fiona, that after castles, don't get greedy.
So he went d4, as you suggested.
He went d4, and his opponent's clearly prepared well,
he
though.
immediately...
Yeah. I think it's terrifying playing young players,
yes.
Especially when they're young, 18 and a grandmaster, because you know they're nowhere near their full potential.
I'm always terrified of playing the Indian players. I always thought if there's one place in the world, one country where I'm never going to play a chess tournament. I mean, I already have so little rating.
Yeah, you don't want to lose it. So you don't want to lose the little rating you have.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And I think India is one of the... Yeah. And all the tournaments, there's so many. So often you see them winning hundreds of rating points.
I totally agree. I mean,
very dangerous.
I've discussed this when I was an IM with some friends, and we're trying to think of countries to go to try to get the GM title and to gain rating points. And we decided that Reykjavik wasn't necessarily a very good place to go because they're all too strong in Reykjavik. They're all they're all attacking really interesting players.
That's different. Because I think it's an island and it's not so easy to get away. So they just play in between themselves and they don't get their rating up. So they're very dangerous, underrated.
But it is actually a great tournament to play.
It's a great tournament.
I mean, don't get me wrong, and you don't always have to play Icelandic players. One of my favourite tournaments, Reykjavik. But India is certainly, they're just so underrated. China probably wouldn't be a great place to go to. Where is a good place nowadays?
I don't want to insult any countries.
No, I don't either. England? Can I insult England?
I think some European countries aren't too bad, but I want name and shame.
I can think of some European countries as well, which I really, yeah, definitely.
So d4 and bishop g4 immediately played. So can we afford to play f3? I mean, if we play f3, there's suddenly so many pieces hanging.
f3, you've got 3 pieces on pre. Maybe just is a bishop b6 move here, or is there something else? It's so complicated.
It's very complicated. Just this is maybe a good moment to remind you, we're not using engines, so we're just trying to figure this out by ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, hang on a minute. You've got rook. You've got white is attacking the bishop on c5, the knight on e5, the bishop on g4, and the rook on a8. How many pieces do you want to attack? That's just greedy. That is. So what can
and he's a piece down, but he has 2 pawns already.
Yeah.
But then again, as we mentioned, Jan Christian has played the whole game without like he is following.
Yeah.
He's clearly prepared, and if you look at the camera, he seems.
Did he just give a little smile?
Just a little smile.
Do you think he heard us? Do you think he heard us saying you don't want to play against these dangerous kids? I want his ears checked for the commentary broadcast. I have to be honest, if he's listening to our commentary, he would lose this game in the next 5 moves. So I'm sure he's not cheating that way. He's smiling again.
He seems very happy. Yeah.
He does seem
just
very
smiling
happy
to himself.
I know. Wow.
But
that's really off-putting.
I just saw Jan Christian. I can't mention the evil company, but he was just in Hamburg. I just saw him there 2 days ago, and we were talking about this tournament, and he said
Chess 24. Okay, right, yeah.
So he was there recording for us, and we talked about the Isle of Man tournament, and he said he was very much looking forward to coming here, because he of course wants to face strong players, and today is a perfect opportunity. He does work on chess quite a lot. He did record some opening stuff, so he knows. I mean. He invests some time in opening preparation, and it's clear.
Yeah, certainly. Well, I mean, if I was Mickey, I mean, Mickey's the coolest cucumber in the world at chess. But if I was Mickey and I was playing a young kid, and the young kid just started smiling to himself, I'll be like, oh my words, I'm terrified, and you're just scaring me more and more. I mean, I really don't know about this position. There's just so many pieces on pre. F3 looks like a move. I'm just wondering what the young kids got planned against this.
I also wonder, but then I really like, if I don't understand the position, looking at body language, and he just seems so happy that.
Is this idea here something like knight takes e4? Let's just have a quick look. So I just want to try and find at least a little glimpse of the idea. Queen takes, and now rook to e8. Is this maybe this is not good enough?
I wonder
knight
if
takes f3 is my idea.
But I was wondering if I take on c5.
Well, I think pawn takes bishop on g4. There's so many pieces to take. If you take here, then I was going to go knight takes f3.
Queen takes.
Queen takes. Well, then I.
How much? I don't have to. I don't. No, I have nowhere near enough material.
Not quite enough there. No. But I think I think the problem with this idea, rook e8, is you simply just take this one because I haven't got any good knight jumps. Yep. I mean, again, this just shows you nowadays that you need to, at this level, this top grandmaster level, if you're going to play sharp lines, you really need to be prepared so well. So I don't think we're going to look at this anymore. We'll just wait and see how it develops. We could spend forever go looking at this.
But Mickey did just play, actually.
Oh, he did play a move? Okay, right. So let's have a look.
Mickey just played queen c2.
Okay, so we didn't go for f3 for some particular reason.
That we don't understand.
We'll be honest, we don't understand. So it's way above our head.
Okay, but still, he's still attacking 3 pieces. He's still attacking c5, e5, and a8.
Yeah, makes sense. So, but again, it's just such a difficult position to try to get my head around. I mean, again, if I was black here, what would I be thinking of? Just trying to work out ideas here. I'd be thinking of something crazy like this, knight to f3 check. Trying to, because I'm going to lose a piece anyway, so why not lose a piece and try to create some
and then followed maybe by bishop a3.
Follow up this one, and if you take my bishop, I take on f1, I've got a queen d1 check, so I can show that very quickly. I take here, and maybe I've got rook e8.
No, but I have queen g5.
No, well, you can't have bishop.
First queen blunder of the day.
First queen of the day. I'm sure there'll be plenty more. But this should be quite good. Rook e8, I've got loads of files. And if you move the rook, I don't know, rook somewhere, it may be here, then I've got maybe just bishop d6. I don't know if this is enough compensation. It might just be absolute rubbish again. It
I
might
think
be, but
we
I
will
don't
see.
know. Yeah, yeah. I
Let's
agree.
move on.
I agree. Yeah.
There's a tweet coming in from King's Pawn. Hey guys, enjoying the commentary. Don't miss Trent-Shirov. Well, thank you very much, King's Pawn, and let's just go there.
Let's do that.
And also, if we keep the same camera view as the Adams game, we will be able to see the players in the background.
Indeed. So b5, bishop b3. Okay, castles. And now from Lawrence, do you reckon, well actually I know the answer to this because he told me yesterday at dinner, but obviously he's the manager of Fabiano, he's a very strong player himself. Do you reckon he steals Fabiano's notes? You know, he like...
Just look at Lawrence.
Look at him, he's just relaxing. I hope he put some deodorant on, because it would be very unfortunate on Mickey if he didn't there with that pose going on. He's a really nice guy, Lawrence,
yeah.
Lovely guy. But I wonder if he does get access. I mean, I know the answer, so it's a trick question. Do you reckon Fabiano lets him look at his notes? Because these guys, like Fabiano's work notes, are going to be incredible.
Yeah.
You know, but
I guess he will let him see some stuff. What is the answer?
I don't think he does. No,
nothing.
He says, I spend all this time on it. Well, you don't be so lazy, do it yourself. So yeah, it's kind of. I don't know if that's true. I don't think he does. But also, they're very secret notes, aren't they? And you don't want anyone else playing them. Because,
but if you don't trust your manager, then who are you going to trust?
I think he trusts him. I just don't. I just think
he just doesn't want him to play it.
He doesn't want him to play his ideas. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if that's entirely true, but you know, I
we will get Lawrence in here Sunday, and we can just
if he wins,
ask him.
If he wins, he'll definitely be coming in, won't he?
Yeah.
So, okay, but knight c3 is okay. It's meant to be quite a. I believe, I don't know this opening so well. Don't you normally play with c3 kind of thing in this position and go for d4? I'm sure that's the more standard way of playing. Okay, knight c3, d6, now a3. So Lawrence playing very calmly, very, very calmly. He's just making a square for his bishop. So his bishop is just got a square to escape to if it's ever attacked. And maybe White's idea is knight d5, just trying to play this move. So it's quite.
We're going to have to go back to this game because we were looking. And look at Lawrence. Lawrence, it's his move, but he's like, "What the hell is going on there?"
I told you, great minds think alike. Did I actually guess the move in this game? I'm doing so well today. Okay, I'm doing well with my knight jumps. Okay,
we're having some excellent and very, very exciting games today.
Brilliant. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's very quickly. We won't spend a lot of time here. I mean, Lawrence's position, just to summarise, going to be a positional game. There's not going to be many fireworks there. Well, I think we'll go to Hou Yifan's game soon. But first of all, just to let you know what's happening, and we will leave Peter Lico alone for the time being. Where are you, Mickey? There you are. It's actually gone according to what we said. After Queen c2, Black did go knight takes e4, and he did play knight to f3 check, which is kind of shocking, actually. Kind of pretty weird stuff going on. So, Mickey,
I guess he has to take. Surely king h1 can't be a move.
Well, I mean, you could consider it because you're attacking the bishop. Still, you could consider king h1, but it looks very risky. I mean,
I can't even take.
I could
take on h2 or queen h4.
Yeah, queen h4. There's a lot of scary looking stuff going on here. Yeah, I agree. I mean, f5, queen e6. No, what about f5? We just play f5 here because I'm not worried. Okay, you've got to check. So what? Let's say you go check.
Yeah, but then also next move you have rook f6 coming with tempo.
Rook f6, queen h4. Yeah. This is let's say you take on c5 just to demonstrate how scary this could get. Bang! That's another sound effect move. We still haven't got a sound effect button, but and if h3, bang! There's another. The king side's getting decimated. I think you have to take that knight.
I wouldn't want to be in Mickey's shoes right now.
No. I think you have to take this knight. I mean, let's just quickly look. 'Cause this is fascinating stuff from a young German. And just before we do, I mean, I'm assuming bishop h3 is the move, but is there possibly another move here? Is there possibly another option? F5, queen e6 check is not working. Option, I don't think. So, okay, bishop h3, and then I think you have to move the rook. You probably have to move the rook to stop rook e8. So this looks very natural.
Another tweet coming in from Graham Stewart. Well, I've got my sausage sandwich ready for lunch, so might as what? Might as well watch Ginger DM and Calista28 commentate on the IOM chess. So enjoy your sausage sandwich. Thank you for watching us. So yeah, if you want to tweet, use hashtag IOM chess. If you want to follow Simon and I, you see our handles there. And we appreciate every tweet coming in.
Yes, so hello Graham. And why can I ask why on Twitter you're called Kalisti? Is it from the Game of Thrones?
No, Kalisti is the Greek word sort of for Corsica, where my mother hails from, so I'm very emotionally attached to Corsica. Okay. And 28 is just my lucky number. So there you go.
All right, good stuff. I never knew that. I thought you might be after Game of Thrones.
No, I've never seen a single episode of Game of Thrones. So.
Oh, right. Okay, so obviously not. Okay, so I just want to quickly look at this position. Rookie 1, I just want to see what Black's idea is here, because is it, I've got some more craziness. Look at this. Is it Queen F6 here? Because he has taken it. Yes, great start.
And I think,
he's going for it. Oh, he's still in his prep. Oh, if Mickey, this must be terrifying for poor old Mickey. I mean, he's the coolest guy around, but I would be, have to change my underwear, I think, at this moment. Should we just leave it at that? Actually, no, Queen has a load of rubbish. I was thinking I'd go Queen G6 check. But yeah, this is terrifying, but...
Maybe just Bishop D6.
Yeah, but if Bishop D6, what's your next move? I mean, let's just say I take another pawn. I'm still not sure how Black's actually getting in here. I think maybe you go Queen D6. There must be something sharp here.
Yeah.
Queen, let's go Queen D7. I want to go Rook E8. I want to put my Rook on E8.
And use the back rank.
And use the back ranker. Yes, this is
This does look.
And I've got F5 maybe now, because you've got no checks with your queen.
No.
And the king here is a bit weak. But I mean, you know,
it's hard to find a move for white here.
Yeah, I mean, you can go like Rook E3, something like this. But then F5, F4. It's scary. It's just scary, isn't it? I mean, I expect white is okay, but you play one bad move here.
Look at Jan Christian. He looked very happy earlier. Now he just looks bored. Like,
yeah, come on, resign, Mickey. Come on, Mickey. You know
I've analysed this to the end.
I know.
What am I even doing here?
Exactly. I've had this on like Houdini for at least a month. You're boring me, Mickey. Come on. So yeah, okay. Well, we better come back to that one, better we? So fascinating encounter. Can we go to board 1, because we can't leave this Dutch defence alone for too long, and then we'll go for Hou Yifan. We'll go to Hou Yifan. So let's go to board 1, and this is of course Fabiano. And where are you, Fabiano? Now, of course, America have just won the Chess Olympiad, and you've got 3 of the winning members playing here in this tournament. And I thought it was a bit disappointing how the press in America did not pick up on this so much, because it was a really big thing for the American chess team to win the Olympiad. And they seemed to mention other controversies more than this. And they seemed to mention the fact that there was a bit of debate that the American players weren't American, they were brought in. They mentioned this more than the fact that they actually won the Olympiad. And I think that kind of argument was, I don't know what you think about this, Fiona, that some people were saying, you know, even on chat shows in America, the American team, well, all the players were just brought in.
Yeah, there was this comedy show about buying nerds.
Buying the nerds.
Yeah, I don't remember the guy's name, but yeah, I mean, I read someone say somewhere online that the American team used to be a lot less American in the past, and I sort of have to agree.
Certainly, yeah, definitely. I mean,
because I mean, Fabiano was born there.
Fabiano was born in America. Yeah,
I think the only player is Wesley So, who you could argue about, but
I think the thing with Wesley So though was okay. He's lived in the Philippines as well. But he's
been there for a long time.
He went to university in America. He moved to university, and the university seemed to help him, because at that moment in time he was only 2650, and the university he went to, from that moment onwards, he gained 100 points. So he wouldn't have been the player. He wouldn't be, you know, the player he was if he didn't go to America and lived in America. So I don't think there's any major problems, you know. So I can't see any big issues with it at all.
Me neither.
Okay, so H4 played. Now C6 from Fabiano. Now, assuming the idea of this move is, well, I mean, if you go h4, the first move you have to analyse is h5. And I'm assuming the reason he has not moved this knight on g8 is so that he can go h6. Now, if the knight was on f6 here, white could go bishop takes knight. And if the bishop moves now, so let's say bishop f4, g5, and black should be absolutely fine here because white has not managed to open up any squares, any lines, any files, diagonals on the king side. So just before I move on, there is one line here I would just want to double check, and that is pawn takes pawn here. This is certainly a move you've got to make sure is not going to defeat black, you know, not going to lose as black. So pawn takes bishop, rook takes rook, bishop takes, and now something like queen h5. So on the surface this looks quite scary. So this is the kind of thing I would certainly consider as white. The bishop probably has to move. You want to stop the pawn from going, so something like bishop here, and now I expect knight to f3, but probably there's not enough compensation. But it's scary. It's still scary, this kind of stuff. I would certainly consider that against Fabiano, get an attack. Instead, white went for the development when knight to f3. Another thing, this knight often, I always find this knight, it may even be much better on f4 in these kind of positions. I suppose then you have to watch out for h6. So knight to f3, knight d7, white playing simple developing moves, bishop d3, and now knight to f6. h5 not as strong now. It might still be playable. It's certainly the move I want to play, because if knight takes h5, maybe you've got bishop takes f5 here or something. I mean, rook takes here is critical. Yeah. Pawn takes, and now you need to find a good move here.
Maybe knight some.
Yeah, knight h4,
knight h4, yeah.
Trying to take here with the queen. Maybe knight f6 defending that pawn. And now this looks really dangerous. Black. I take here with check, and I get a pawn. If I get a pawn for the exchange, I've got a monstrous attack. So what is he's got h5. Yes, come on, Harry, make my day, Harry. Harry, come on, Fiona.
Harry's being a star today.
He's having the time of his life. Yeah, time of his life. Harry, my life. Oh dear, we're starting. Come on, okay, do you want to finish the song off? It's not that early for the craziness to start. So Harry is having the time of it. Okay, anyway, you get the idea. He is though, isn't he? He's rocking and rolling. He is. He's having a great old session up there.
So,
what does
what's
Black do?
Fabiano going to? Yeah, I'm curious to see. I like this. I mean, yesterday I think the players, the lower weighted players, were too conservative.
Totally agree.
In their approach, and I think today we're in for some real treats. This game, the Adams-Schroeder game.
Yep, totally
Lots
agree.
Of good stuff.
They're playing a lot more without fear here, aren't they? I mean, I think yesterday the lower rated players may have been a bit nervous.
Too respectful.
Too respectful, yeah. I mean, you should really respect your opponents, but you should also treat them like, you know, I was going to say something naughty, but you get the idea, and try to crush them like the flies that, you know, you've got to like, you know, try to crush your opponent. It's a blood sport. But I've no idea. What is Fabiano? How is he going to cope with this? This looks. I mean, this is why I don't play 1f5, because this kind of position terrifies me as black. You know, with that pawn all the way on h5, it terrifies me. So. There we go.
Okay, so I think Fabiano is going to think for some time here.
Yeah, we'll come back to that one.
So I suggest we go to Hou Yifan, and after that we're going to have our first quick break of the day. So let's go to Hou Yifan. She's playing the player. You're going to do the pronouncing of his name today.
Great. Yeah, good. I like this. I like a challenge. We all know that I can pronounce any name perfectly. First,
we should find the game.
Yeah, we should do. We've got so many games to search through.
It's the third from the top.
Okay, so Praggnanandhaa. I'm not just singing. Okay. Okay, we have Praggnanandhaa. Praggnanandhaa.
Actually, he has Anand in his name, which is quite funny.
Anand, yeah.
So Praggnanandhaa.
He actually has, if you look at it, two Anands in there. So he could be double Anand. If you look at it, he has Anand
This
and
boy has
Anand.
a bright future.
He has a bright future. He has, God, yeah, definitely. Yeah. He's double Anand. Oh my words! And he's 11 years old. He's an IM. Oh dear, scary stuff. But yeah, you were saying he's only 11.
He's only 11. He is the youngest IM in history.
Yeah.
So, and if you're called Anand, that bodes well.
Yeah, bodes well for the future, definitely. Serious talent, and obviously I do apologise, for not being able to pronounce some of the names correctly. I just can't do it as well as I should be, but that's life. Okay, so let's go through the open moves quickly. Hou Yifan black and picking the Sicilian. So this is great to see. You won't get this in opens as much. The top players playing more riskier openings. They're not playing Berlins because they can't draw. They need to win. Knight takes d4, knight to f6, and now this line with d6. So now I've played this as well as black. It's gone out of fashion because of a move here, and the so-called Keres attack, which is g4, and white can play this move now. If we remember, if people have been following the commentary all the way through, if you can remember the Hikaru Nakamura game, and you can recall that, we saw that Hikaru's opponent went h3 to prepare g4. But in this variation, you can go g4 straight away, and it's a very aggressive and just starting attack straight away with g5 coming in. Of course, named after Paul Keres, a great attacking player. And this is one reason players with the black pieces don't like this opening. So white really could have played that aggressive move here, but instead went for a different setup with bishop e2. Bishop e7, castles. So probably, as he's a young player, I'm assuming when you're a younger player, this might not be correct for double Anand, but when you're a younger player, you kind of get used to a couple of setups, don't you? And you don't really know, you don't have as much chess knowledge as older people. You will do. So you just want to play similar setup most of the games. You know them very well. Maybe that's why he's gone for this f4 potential setup. So queen c7, and now king h1, because of course the king needs to sidestep this diagonal. Castle's kingside, and now a pretty decent positional move, a4. This is stopping black from doing the standard Sicilian break. Black normally plays on the queen side in these positions. If you play a Sicilian, you need to study these types of positions. These are really important because you won't always get sharp Sicilians. You need to know what to do here. Black wants to play on the queen side. White often throws Gary up the board, or E and F pawns. So knight c6, a4 does also create some weaknesses in the white position. b4 is a main square to point out. So bishop e3. Okay, well, Hou Yifan goes for a simple plan, taking on d4, developing the last piece, and now e5 is played, forcing that knight to make a decision. The knight goes back, and now queen b4. Seems like a very positional approach from a young player. Double Anand.
Talking of double Anand, if we look at the time situation, well, single Anand in his younger days was renowned for playing at an extreme fast pace, while double Anand seems to be taking his time. Both have spent same amount of time. So and
there was a great video which you guys can see on YouTube. Maybe we'll try to get it up for you after our break soon. But it was a video of Anand playing a blitz game. A 5-minute game for a serious amount of money in some competition, and I think he spent 2.5 minutes on his first move, which is just bizarre. So we could try and find that. Yeah, it's worth seeing. Okay, so the idea is now that the pawn on d6 can't move because it's pinned, and after bishop c6, Anand, double Anand, I can't stop calling him double Anand. He is his own person, and he clearly will be a very, very strong player. He is a very strong player.
We should get used to.
We should get used to this kind of thing. Praggnanandhaa. It's a real.
Praggnanandhaa.
Praggnanandhaa. Can we say that? Praggnanandhaa.
But after Pragna, there's no Anand. It's Praggnanand.
Okay,
Praggnanand.
Praggnanandhaa. It's like ha. I'm called Anand. I'm called Anand. You're not. Ha. So, okay. Okay. Well, after bishop b6, the only move. I mean, white going for a positional approach here. I'm just wondering if black can go pawn takes pawn. I mean, why can't Hou Yifan just take this pawn? Attack the queen. Am I missing something here?
I guess in the worst case I can play queen a5. Worst case.
Queen a5, yeah. And then I have to move my queen and
then
take the pawn back.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's a simple answer. And actually, there is a bit of positional danger here that, you know, black's pieces are not very good squares. This knight is a terrible piece. It wants to really be on d7.
Yeah.
And there's the thing that black could get in a horrible bind here. This could be an upset. Could be an upset. Okay, right.
Okay, so as we mentioned, it is time for our first break. But before we leave you, just a last word about what might be the game of the day so far. Mickey Adams against Jan Christian Schröder, and they are still following a game that was played in 2015, and that's the game between Popov and Jonathan Karlstedt, another German player. So it could be that, I don't know if they know each other well, but either way, they are still following that up till now. So
should we just have an update on this?
I'm pretty sure Schröder will be familiar with that game.
Sure. Let's have a very quick update, shall we? Just on that before we take the break, because you can see Shirov's even interested in this game. It's a more Shirov game than Shirov. I mean, it's really Shirov. Well, actually, after bishop h3, I assumed that white wasn't going to take on c5 because it looked very dangerous, but he did take on c5. And after bishop takes rook, king takes rook, I assumed here that rook e8 or queen d1, one of these moves would be incredibly dangerous. But Mickey thinks this is okay, and he went queen d1 check, queen e1, and now queen takes f3. So with ideas of checking here, and we have one more. Do we have one more move?
No, we don't have a move, but we're being informed that in the game I mentioned, Popov-Karlstedt, bishop e3 was played here, and the game ended in a draw after 49 moves. Okay. So we will be back with this game and a lot of more action after the break. One last thing, we mentioned Twitter. Kevin Winter has been tweeting at us quite a lot. So first of all, thanks for watching us, Kevin. And he asked if it was a good idea to play in Corsica. So I can only recommend it to everyone. Corsica is my favorite place in the world if you have the opportunity to play there.
Am I going to get an invite?
Well, I'm not going this time, sadly. There's a big tournament coming up later this month. It's the anniversary edition of the Corsican circuit with Anand, single Anand, Hou Yifan, Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, Rajabov, some big names. So if you have the opportunity to go there, I would recommend it anytime. So yeah, thanks for watching, Kevin and everyone else. This concludes part 1 of today's show, and we'll be back after a 10-minute break, so don't go anywhere.
Chess.com is about playing. At any moment, there are thousands of people from around the world playing on Chess.com. So whether you're a total beginner or a grandmaster, you'll find a game quickly with someone at your level. You can play at any pace, from 1-minute bullet to 5-minute blitz to 60-minute games. Or you can play more relaxed games where you have several days to make your move. There are tournaments starting every few minutes, or you can play against our customizable coaching computer. Chess.com is for learning. Chess isn't just about playing, it's about getting better. Chess.com puts the best training tools at your fingertips. Sharpen your game with over 50,000 tactics puzzles. Improve your strategy with training videos by top grandmasters. Get instant feedback after your games with real-time computer analysis. Regardless of where you're at now, you can take your game to the next level. Chess.com is for sharing. Join the community where you can discuss chess ideas in the forums and follow the latest chess news, or join a club with friends and play in a league against other clubs. You can find all this in your browser at home and at work, or on the go with your phone or tablet. Signing up is free and easy. So what are you waiting for? Enjoy your game.
Hello and welcome back to the coverage of round 2 of the Isle of Man International Chess Tournament, sponsored by Chess.com and the Scheinberg family. We are still Simon and Fiona.
Still Simon and Fiona.
Still Simon and Fiona.
Are we going to change at some point?
Hopefully not. I quite like being
Simon and Fiona is alright, isn't it? Yeah, we can make do.
Yeah. So today we have a lot of exciting games, and we're going to go straight back to the one that's been grabbing our attention the most, and that's Mickey Adams against Jan Christian Schröder.
Certainly, yeah, and this is an incredibly exciting game where the young Schröder has obviously come extremely well prepared to the battle. I also expect that Mickey knows what he's doing here as well, and we have. You think? I think so. I think he's just been remembering his theory and not rushing things. I mean, I remember playing Mickey once, and he'd be an amazing poker player. I played him in a tournament, and the first prize of a round the world trip in a Concorde. Actually, it was a long number of years ago, obviously, because there's no Concordes around anymore. But he blundered a piece against me. It's a 5-minute tournament on move 5 or 6, a clear piece. But I kind of started laughing because I thought this is supposed to be Mickey. Bit rude of me, of course, to laugh at someone's misfortune. And he was just as cool as anything. He showed no emotion, nothing at all. And I would have thought he knows this position. I would have thought so. If it's been played before, he will know it. So you can see Shirov there taking a very big interest in the game, playing against Lawrence, and it has continued with bishop to e3. And
so they were still following the Popov-Karlstedt game up until here, at least?
Yeah. Pawn takes b5, so black gets 1 pawn back. Rook takes rook, and now rook takes rook. And in actual fact, materialistically, just counting the points at this moment, you will see that
knight d2 was played as well.
Knight d2, you will see that it's equal on material.
Yeah.
And it's now obviously black to move here. So what's happening? Well, the natural idea here would be to grab the pawn on h2. So queen h1 check, I'd imagine, and now king e2 is the only move. I don't think you want to go into an ending yet. As we spoke about this yesterday, when the 2 minor pieces, the rook is often good in the ending against them, but queen takes h2 I think would be logical, and black goes a pawn up now. But white seems to have quite a solid setup. I don't know, a very hard position to assess, extremely hard to assess. I mean, I wouldn't have thought black would be unhappy with this position at all. Black's a pawn up, the h pawn, we can see Harry motoring down the board. And white doesn't strike me as having an easy plan here, you know, nothing sort of immediate. Maybe knight to f3 and knight d4, so something like knight here, but then you run into queen h5, which is a really annoying pin. So I don't know, I mean, if black just takes the pawn... I would take
black. I mean, I'd rather be black here, I think.
Yeah, I mean, if black just grabs his pawn, where is Mickey's compensation for the pawn? What's he going to do here? How does he start coordinating his pieces? I mean, if knight b3, trying to get to d4, I think this is the right kind of way to play, because d4 square is a lovely square. Then maybe this is what you should do. I mean, even here you could start going h5, use that passed pawn, just push it. Simple plan. Knight d4. Just push that pawn. Just keep pushing that pawn. Yeah. I mean, it's only 3 squares away. I was just
wondering if I give a check. I'm sort of like a player. Patzer sees check. Patzer gives check.
Gives a check. Yeah, you should look at checks. So
I was wondering if I give a check on h5, where are you going to go?
Well, I thought my king would be quite safe on d2 because I've always got knight d4, consolidating that square.
That's a good point.
Unless you can go rook check and take on c5.
Oh. That's another good point.
this is I like this. I mean, I think if I was black, I'd keep things simple. You know, I don't want to overcomplicate. Maybe this might be a very good plan. I think, just personally, I just think, right, well, if my opponent does play a move like here, I'm just going to push this pawn all the way to h3, try to go queen g2 and get a queen, because Mickey has to stop this. I'll be very interested now to see how Hikaru judges this position, because Hikaru would be a terrible poker player. His we're not going to see his facial expressions, because you can tell a lot by Hikaru's face. I think he's very similar to Kasparov, like that, you know, very, very expressive person. Okay, so yeah.
So let's leave that for now, but it's still looking interesting. Of course, it's simplified now, but I like the way this has gone for Schroeder, I have to say.
Yeah, he's playing very good chess.
So let's go to board 6, where Maxime Vachier-Lagrave from Israel is facing Tiger Hillar-Persson from Sweden. Two very interesting players again here.
Certainly, yeah. I mean, Maxime's a very strong player from Israel. And I think he now lives in Prague, actually, with his wife, who's another chess player. I think she's playing in this tournament.
Here, yep.
Another family playing. And Tiger, yeah, we know Tiger very well. He's a good friend, very nice guy. He looks a bit like Sherlock Holmes and Benedict Cumberbatch. Have you ever noticed this? So, but he's actually come back to my home village after this tournament directly to film a DVD for me. So, well, for him as well.
I think he's also very underrated now. I'm actually surprised to see this rating of 25-13. He's obviously a lot stronger than that. So
yeah, he's a very dangerous player.
Yeah, not an easy pairing for Vachier-Lagrave. So let's see what happened in the game.
And one of the reasons I want to look at this game as well is because it's a proper King's Indian defence, and I really enjoy looking at games in this opening. They're normally fascinating. And that's where black plays the setup. So it's the reverse setup to what Arkady Naiditch has done. So if you remember that game, this is the reverse setup here. So knight c3, and this is the standard King's Indian defence. White gets the 3 pawns in the centre, d6, and now the main line, knight to f3, castles. Well, this next move of White's is becoming one of the main moves in this normal position here. The main line is bishop e2. In this position, and this is a lot of theory in this, and you know it's a very complicated position. But this weird little move h3 has now become the trend. We can actually see David Howell there as well.
Yeah, I was just thinking, let's have a look at David's game at some point today.
Certainly. And h3 has become the trend. Now, this you might be thinking, why do they play h3? What's the point of that when you can develop a bishop and get castled? And the main point is, in the King's Indian defence, what you've got to think what your opponent does. So if you're white, what's black's plan? And black's main plan is to go e5. This is his first pawn break. White normally responds with d5. Taking that pawn doesn't lead to an advantage. This gives white a space advantage, this d5 move. And now black always tries to get f5 in. This is his one main break in the position. And now that you've played h3, if black tries to do this straight away, let's say with something like knight e8, you can play the move g4. So it's actually a positional idea. You're trying to stop the main break black has. Always watch out for your opponent's pawn breaks. And if f5 now, white can go g takes f5 and play a move like rook g1. And this kind of idea, maybe you go bishop g5 first, but this general idea of getting this initiative on the king's side is all aimed against this move of black playing f5. So Tiger's instead gone a5, another idea, clamping down on the queen's side, stopping b4 and securing the c5 square for a knight. g4 was played anyway.
And just talking of how Tiger, I'm just interrupting you for 1 second. I was saying he's just rated a bit over 2500, but I'm just reading this information out. I'm not a big Go specialist, but he's 1Q in Go, which is the last rank before the Dan ranks. So it's probably very good.
It's very good. It's weird in Go. And Go, I believe, is the only game which people say has more possibilities than chess. And great facts about this at the moment, because I mean, first of all, Go's it's an amazing game, and you get, it's a bit like they do it because it's obviously from the East, this game, and they rank it like the martial arts, so you can get like a Dan, first Dan, second Dan. But of course, you probably know as well that Tiger's just played
a match.
So who did he play in that match?
No one else, but I can't speak in English anymore. He played Morozevich, which is very interesting.
He did, yeah.
I haven't actually read up on that match. But
it's funny because Morozevich is a fantastic chess player, but he hasn't played much chess. And they played this match at Go, and I think that Morozevich may have won. But apparently Morozevich now is like one of the leading Go players in the world. After looking at it for a couple of years, he's become exceptionally good. So obviously, if you're a good chess player, you can transfer those skills elsewhere. Okay, well, knight to a6 played. bishop e3, knight d7. So Tiger is considering playing f5, but also just trying to bring the knights into some squares activity. a3, and now knight b6, and this is an interesting little idea. The knight doesn't often go to this square in the King's Indian, but you have ideas of a4 and you have ideas of pressurizing some squares. Rook g1, so Maxime saying you're not going to play f5, you're not playing your main pawn break. Bishop d7, and Black's really going to try to get his counterplay on the queen side here with c6 and stuff like this. But White pushes forwards with h4, so Harry again making a march, and now knight to c5, so these knights starting to create some play, and White doesn't really ever, well, very rarely want to give his bishop up for this knight, because you'll find later on this piece on g7, which is like a dead piece at the moment, can spring to life very, very easily, and you've got to be able to fight that. So,
and there we just have some, maybe you can talk us through this ranking.
Thanks. Yeah, okay, so the rank system is basically from the lowest to the highest. Thanks, Fiona. You're such an angel sometimes, you know. Okay,
so basically, what this means is that Tiger is a strong intermediate amateur.
Okay.
And also to just, so we mentioned the match against Morozevich. So Morozevich won the match. This was a mix between chess and Go, and Morozevich won the chess portion 2-0, and in Go they tied 1-1. So Morozevich won the match with 3-1 overall.
Okay. Do you reckon when you get to a certain dan in Go, you get a belt, like a karate belt? No? That'd be quite cool.
That would be cool.
That'd be cool. Like in chess, you could wear your belts to the board.
Maybe a headband.
Headband, yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Bandana. Bandana. Okay. Right. So, well, we'll just get up to date with this game. And now the idea here, positionally, if White plays a move like h5, let's say, which is a move he wants to play, then Black gets a good hold on the queen side. He goes a4, and this b3 square is a great square for that knight, and that knight will probably even pop to d4 later on. So Maxime goes b3 to at least you know, make that more difficult for Black to play. If Black does go a4, which I'm assuming he might want to play anyway, at least White can play b4 now, and he makes, you know, that pawn's better on b4 than on b2. And in that last line, if you try to go b4 ever here, well, of course, there's always en passant, so that would be a problem. So b3, king to h8 now. So I think Tiger is now, and he's such an aggressive player, Tiger. I mean, his opening Tiger's Modern is being picked up by the likes of Magnus Carlsen nowadays, and he plays all sorts of positions well, but he loves playing crazy positions as well. And I think he's going to go for f5 anyway, hence why he's moved his king out of the rook's line. And
you know, funnily, I was having dinner with Tiger just last night, with Tiger and the other Swedish Grandmaster, Nils Grandelius, and David Howell, and Tiger was saying it's very rare occurrence for him to have dinner out, especially in early stages of tournaments. He prefers to keep to himself, you know, get some quick dinner sandwich and read a nice book. And he said that if he were to play a nice game today, we probably wouldn't get rid of him.
Okay, for dinner. Okay, right. So you're going to have him dinner every night. I guess that's a good thing.
Well, I'm hoping I'm hoping he will do well, of course. And Tiger, very nice guy, very interesting personality. He
is, yeah. He's a very interesting guy, very well read, and Maxime's also a top guy as well. You know, both of these guys.
But yeah, as you said, I like the way Tiger is playing this here. Yeah.
Now we just a couple more moves. We have an interesting development. So knight d2 played, and now very greedy move from Tiger. I mean. Oh dear, you have to be a brave Tiger to play this one. I mean, Queen takes h4. Get rid of Harry. He's thinking, Harry, you're not hanging around here anymore. And that looks so dangerous because you're opening up an open line towards your poor little guy on h8. And Maxime has just gone Queen f3, which is the normal move because you want to go Rook h1 and then go plonk on h7 at some point. I mean, simply Rook h1, Queen h3. What did Tiger have in mind? Should he have taken that pawn?
He must have been thinking something, surely.
I imagine he has something up his sleeve, but I mean, is it f5? Is he going to go f5 anyway? Is this maybe he has to play this f5 move? But this looks. Whoa.
I have no idea what's going on here.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know either. I mean, this is very risky for both sides. I don't know whose king is in more danger because, of course, black I think needs to open up the position in the middle.
Can white ever trap the queen? Somehow take with the g pawn followed by bishop g5.
Yep. Let's have a look. So here, and I was hoping now I could go pawn. Oh no, because then you take on f8. I was hoping that black could go pawn takes f5 here, leading to complications, but actually white wins a rook here by going queen takes rook. Both queens are on pre, and then taking the queen, he's a rook up. So if you do go bishop g5, scary.
Scary.
I mean, can you sack your typical tiger would be to find a way to sack his queen. Yeah. He doesn't really have much joy for his queens, I've noticed. So he'll be thinking of a way to sack it. So let's think like tiger, because the problem is if you go queen h2, then there's rook h1, isn't there? And after rook h1, I'm not really sure where any compensation is coming from here. So
okay, I suggest we let Tiger figure this out. I'm sure he must have been thinking something when he took on h4, but let's just wait for him to show us. And let's return to the top boards. Maybe let's start with Wesley So against Hou, board 2 clash.
Yeah, this was very
interesting. We were liking Wesley So position earlier.
Let's see if Wesley went for your idea. So where are you, Wesley? At the top. Okay. And right, so the last position we did have was after bishop b8, and we were considering just bishop takes pawn here, weren't we, with some sacrifice. Looked quite promising. Instead, Wesley's gone for knight g6, and that is a very simple way of playing the position in actual fact, because with this move you're threatening the rook and you're threatening to just win your pawn back. If you win the pawn back, you must be a lot better with your open f-file. And Hou had now played a good aggressive move, and I think she needs to. She now goes d5 because the bishop is stopping that f-pawn from taking. So she's gone d5, and this enters quite a forced variation, because if Wesley takes the rook, Hou will take the bishop, and that knight is now trapped. So this will be very good for Hou. Instead, Wesley's taken on d5. Now Hou's got rid of that pesky knight. Whereas he's taken on c6 with check. That king sidesteps to quite a safe-looking square. And now bishop takes f4. So materialistically...
white is a pawn up, but then black can just take on c6. If she so wishes...
Well, the first question is, what's wrong with queen take the d4 check? I mean, this is the first move. We need to just... let's... go for this Patsy check idea again. I think there's always a knight e2, so it doesn't work. But this check is increasing the pressure on f4. And if king h1, then you could try bishop takes bishop, winning a piece. But I think knight e2 holds things together here. I think. Well, it must do, otherwise Wesley will be lost. And you can see Arkady there looking at the game in the background.
I was just wondering if I can play something like queen e3 followed by knight g4, but...
So here, I guess...
You could even maybe throw in rook f3, I'm not sure.
Rook f3, that could be a nice move to throw in to try to kick that queen away.
Okay. That seems fine after knight e2.
Probably, yeah, maybe because queen d4 check is the wrong plan. What other plans can you play then? I mean, it's a very complex position, because let's say I play like a cowboy.
But also Hou is now half an hour up on the clock.
As well, yeah. I mean, this is a real cowboy move, crazy cowboy move, knight g4. What about this? And I don't think it gets anywhere, but my idea is if you go bishop takes bishop, now I go check. And hello, I have at least a draw here, don't I? King h1. Yeah, maybe cowgirl is better than cowboy. I don't think I should probably call her a cowboy.
Isn't it just winning? You just take on f1 and knight f2?
I'll take here, knight f2, check, king g1.
And now we have the knight... Oh no, there's no smothered.
No. Not quite a smother mate one.
Almost.
Almost, yeah. I mean, maybe, okay, so, I mean, you probably
at least a draw.
Well, let's see. Let's see if white can give the queen. because white's got 2 minor pieces and a really weird move in c7. I mean, what on earth is happening there? What is that? What is that? What is that? Trapping the rook on a8, but trapping the bishop there. What is that position? I've never seen a position like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I guess in the worst case, I can play queen f4 and rook takes b8, right?
Well, I've got knight d5, so your queen is going to get hit a bit. I mean, this is just weird.
This is weird.
This is just weird of the weirdville, wherever that is. Somewhere.
Maybe I can. No, I can't do that either.
I mean, you've got 2 pieces, haven't you, for the queen?
Yeah, but my rook isn't going anywhere because I wanted to play a5 and rook a6, but I can't.
Well, I think you can go here. Can you go? Oh, I'm trying to get weirder. I want to go bishop h3 and get a perpetual. If I'm Hou Yifan, I'm happy with a draw. I don't know. This is just how do you assess this position? You can't. Okay, so very interesting.
Very
Fiona.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think this could be an upset here, or I
draw? Think there is an upset on the cards.
There could be. Yeah. And should we go to Nakamura now?
Yeah.
Hikaru?
Let's go to Hikaru.
Okay. So Hikaru has the black pieces, and he played the Nyadorf line here, and this is also shaping up to be an interesting game. He threw Harry up the board, and when that knight did come in here, he did play bishop takes knight, so we looked at this before. Simply developed his knight to d7, knight c3 played, and now g6, normal move to get the bishop on f8 into the game. Queen d2. You've got a half open line, you might as well use it. Rook c8, using the half open c line. a4, stopping black from going b5. And now a very intriguing idea. And this is a super aggressive, like, typical Hikaru idea. I mean, how many people would think of this move? I mean, if I was going to say predict the move here, I mean, I really don't think there's many people in the world who'd think about playing this next move. Would you even consider this move?
I would never probably consider it.
I mean, most normal human beings would play something like bishop g7, castles, and then they'd think what to do. Hikaru has now broken all the rules, and he's gone his knight back to g8. I mean, what kind of beginner is this guy? Does he not realise he's supposed to be one of the best players in the world? You don't bring your knights backwards. Undevelop your knight. I mean, Hikaru's throughout his life broken a lot of chess rules, and it's a fascinating idea. I mean, I think the main idea, well, white's played...
We're going to see is to play f5. Yeah,
rook a3 is kind of normal to go here, pressurise.
Oh, and I'm just interrupting you because for the very first time you can see an overall camera view of the playing hall. I think it's a lovely venue here. We're playing at the Villa Marina. This is the so-called Royal Hall, and I think the playing conditions are pretty good.
Yeah, they're excellent. Yeah, really nice hall, lots of room for everyone. One of the problems you can get at some chess tournaments is, like, if you're literally got no elbow room, you know, you're in some school hall and you can't move your arms and you're sitting there like that, sweating, and, like, you know, people are pushing you every time you move, and oh dear. Just out of interest, what's the most outrageous thing you've ever seen at a chess tournament? The most controversial thing that's ever happened? Have you seen anything really controversial? I mean, I saw someone get slapped, punched, basically, once. Can you beat that? You know, drawing a game.
I mean, I don't want to go there again, but I was at a women's European team last year where the open letter accusing Mihaela was, and I thought that was outrageous, not in a physical way, but in a psychological way. I thought that was just completely out of order, but okay. Let's not go there again.
No, okay. Okay, so f5, and now, well, white's just gone h4, and that is a positional little move, but that is really...
It's quite funny, we're 15 moves in, and Hikaru has just developed 2 pieces. He had developed 3, but then he
put it back. Yeah,
I like how you called it undeveloped.
Undeveloped, yeah, he just went back home again with his piece. He thought, oh no.
Oh, the game is over, let's
put the pieces back in the start squares. I think the knight thought, oh no, I'm too scared, I want to go home. Don't attack me. Bring me back home again. It's too scary out there in the chess battlefield. I want to go back. So, yeah. I mean, I think the idea here, though, is that if f4, I mean, this is Hikaru's idea, white is setting up something here. You're not going to put your bishop on a7. And I mean, are you? No, you can't be doing that. You've got to be setting up bishop takes f4.
I can't believe you can't go to a7.
You can't. No. So
I mean, first of all, they would just be b6, I guess, trapping.
Yeah. Maybe a5, but rook a8 at least. I think. Yeah. So white must play bishop takes f4, and well, if pawn takes f4, does white have any compensation here? I mean, what was white doing here? Queen takes f4, I'm assuming. And
I wonder if I can play a move like bishop d3 maybe, and then castle very quickly, bring the rook to d5.
Bishop d3, let's put that knight on a lovely square, knight e5. And I don't know.
It seems to be very slow.
It looks like vague compensation, but nothing.
Okay, so what if I do take on f4 first?
Well, if I take on f4 first, I'm dreaming. If I was white here, dreaming of getting the rook to e3.
Maybe knight e4 followed by rook e3.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, and just to inform you that the player with the white pieces, Vishnu Praggnanandhaa, he actually has a blog on chess.com which you can have a look at. So the link is just chess.com/blog/Vishnu Praggnanandhaa. Yeah,
lots of good blogs there. Queen takes f4. I mean, I think this. Okay, again, over the next couple of moves, this is just boiling up, and at some point it's just going to explode all over the board. This position, so it really just chaos is going to happen if Hikaru plays f4, and before he does play the move f4, he's obviously working out these lines because you need to make sure you're not going to get checkmated by this. But I kind of feel that. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's enough compensation or not. I mean, it looks very interesting. Queen takes f4.
I mean, you have 2 pawns already.
You have 2 pawns. You've got knight coming here. You've got bishop. You don't want to play that move. Knight coming there. Yeah, bishop kind of d3. Rook coming across. It could well be.
It looks a bit scary.
It looks scary. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's interesting. So
okay, so let's let Hikaru think. And let's go to our dear friend David Howell. David is playing against the young Spanish I am today.
Alvarado. No, I remember the
Alvarado.
Yeah.
Alejandro.
And okay, David with the black pieces, and he's gone knight f6, and now we see the Trompovsky, bishop g5, and this is actually a move that really was brought into popularity by English players, bishop g5. The most famous player who played bishop g5 was the dynamic Grandmaster Julian Hodgson, who was about 2650, but then gave up chess to make some money because it's quite hard to make money in chess. And he played this a lot. So did Julian Hodgson, Luke McShane. And
I think let's just go through the opening moves very quickly because I think the position on the board right now is looking quite interesting.
Okay. Now, I always thought David's d5 move was a great way to respond to the Trompovsky, and I think taking on f6 doesn't promise any advantage to white. I really think that this is not the way to play the Trompovsky. I mean, okay, it's not terrible, but it's just about equal. Yep. So David pushing his a pawn, so that's an interesting idea there, up the board, try to create some weaknesses. So a3 stopping that. Now, surely his plan is going to be to go b5 and bring this knight to c4. But I like this move, g4. White showing some aggressive intentions. So b5 played.
Gary and Harry.
Harry, h4, good stuff. Yep. So white playing it very aggressively. b4, David trying to create play. Pawn takes b4, and now we can see on the board bishop takes has been played, c3, and this bishop's now got to decide where it wants to go. On the other hand, white's getting quite near to opening up some lines there. I mean, I mean, this.
I always, you know me, I always get excited when I see Harry and Gary running up the board. And I'm always like, oh, I'd want to be white here.
I agree, yeah. But I mean, I think David's plan of pushing the a pawn was quite slow, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was quite a slow plan. I don't know if it's going to come back to haunt him. And I think white's taken exactly the right approach. Yeah. You know, your opponent's playing slowly, try to knock him out. I mean, let's say the bishop goes back to d6. Yeah, let's just go g5. And you're opening up lines here. I mean, it's a very messy position though, because even if you take on f6, black can take with the queen, so it's not clear what white's next move is. You don't take on g5 here, you don't want to open up.
No, but I guess you want to play something like queen, either f5 or h5, provoke h6. No?
Yeah, g6.
I think if you manage to provoke g6, you're quite happy.
g6, Yeah, there's actually a little tactical point here, isn't there? If pawn takes pawn, I think white can go bishop takes bishop takes h7, which might win on the spot. King takes check, and then just queen h5. Okay, but of course you don't take that. So okay, so let's say we'll look at one more maybe. Let's say black plays something like rook b8. You want to go queen h5 here.
I guess h5. Yeah.
I'm a bit worried if you let black close it. Well, here.
I guess I don't have time for queen h6.
You'd like to play that move, yeah.
You'd probably go rook e8, right?
Rook e8.
Yeah.
Well, this is very
interesting.
interesting.
Do I have time for
Queen h7, yeah? Well, crazy hackers think alike. I lost a game for your team, actually, in a very similar idea. In the 4NCL, by playing a similar idea like this to someone a lot weaker. h5, bishop f8, and now Fiona wants to finish this game in glory with, do you want to go pawn takes pawn or queen takes?
That's a good question.
I don't know. We're trying to make a queen sack work here. We're trying.
Does it change anything? Yeah, it must change something.
We can get at least a bishop for the queen if we go pawn takes. I think. I think they're both not enough though.
Okay, let's have a look at queen h7. Okay. We're here to have fun anyway.
Yeah,
we can give our queens up.
We're allowed to give our pieces away. They're not when they're playing. Even though I do it in games sometimes, and I'm like, God, why do I do that? King takes, and then you want to take here, and now king.
Probably g8.
Well, actually, if you go here, it's checkmate in 2 moves.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Cool, blimey, check.
It's quite a nice checkmate, actually.
That's a really nice checkmate. Yeah. Obviously, Fiona saw that 10 moves ago when she went into this. But did Fiona see king g8? Did you have that one prepared?
No.
Okay, but I mean, it's still it's a little bit spicy, isn't it? This, I mean. I think
we need something. Very
it's maybe not that spicy, but well, I don't know. I mean, okay, I mean, what's going on here? Takes, and then g6. Is the king going to run here?
I guess so.
I guess so. Naughty king, naughty king. Don't run. Yeah.
This isn't.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have a queen in this position to bring in the attack, but we gave one up.
Okay, let's just try very quickly the other move. Instead of queen h7.
Yeah.
I don't think it's working either, but let's have a look.
At this one, yeah?
This one, yeah. Okay. So bishop takes h6.
This is certainly the way you'd love to win a game like this, wouldn't you? I mean, you'd go and celebrate massively, I think.
But I guess now the king will just hide on
h8, yeah.
But what if we take on f7?
Okay, let's take here. Well, you probably have to take that one, otherwise you get a lot of material. And now rook takes. So I've got one piece for the queen. Is it enough? But you know what? I mean, my knight is coming to f4.
Yeah, but maybe you can just take on g5. Take on
g5, okay. And now I would like a queen again, please. So my queen. Where's my queen gone?
Bughouse, and you could just get a new queen, then it'd be fine.
Yeah.
Be quite happy.
Yeah. If it was Bughouse, it'd be lovely combination. Yeah. Okay, so you're right though. This kind of idea is certainly dangerous, and I'd imagine. Okay, well, David's put his bishop back just to let you know to e7, because I'm assuming he's thinking that bishop might be needed on f6 to defend some of these ideas. g5, I think you have to play anyway. Yeah. I mean, I like White's position. I like White's position because even if g5, I'm sure you can generate some attack here. Maybe you can even line up bishop takes h7 check here. I go knight f4 and bishop h7. So something like rook b8. I mean, other attacking ideas. Knight f4. Let's say you take here. I want to even go rook g1. I mean, these ideas are scary. I take here, check. You take. I've opened up your king. I go here, and now I play a move like g6.
Yeah. I agree.
And this is knight takes a very scary position for the black king. I mean, I'm a bit worried about David's position here. Yeah, a little bit worried. So yeah.
Okay, but I think White is going to take his time here, and we have a lot of other interesting games. So let's go back to the top seed of the tournament, Fabiano Caruana.
Yeah, let's do it. So, okay. And this was a Dutch defense, but I didn't like the way it was going, but we're going to see how.
I mean, I was liking White.
It's funny, we're taking a lot of the underdogs today, aren't we?
Yeah. I think today the underdogs might have a good day.
Yeah. Okay, so here we are. And the last position we had, now this was Harrysville, this game. And white had played the Dutch defense, just to recap on anyone who, sorry, black had played Dutch, who missed the opening, played f5. Now, if you want to know what to do against the Dutch, one of the reasons I haven't played f5 so much myself is because of bishop g5. And the game has continued knight h6 and now h5, and we were looking at some very scary sacrifices here if black took this and white plays rook takes h5, trying to make a route in for the white queen. That white queen is going to fly in there and get some nasty action going. So Fabiano goes queen b6, creating counterplay on the queen side, trying to hit the pawn on b2. And this is a move you don't want to play as white. You don't want to play this move because you want to castle queen side. You don't want to play, white doesn't want to play this next move. I wouldn't have played this out of principle. I mean, if I was white here, I would have played knight e2, and I wouldn't have even thought about that move. I'd have played that in about a millisecond, and I'd probably find it to be a really rubbish move, and I look like an idiot. But I would have played it anyway, because I'm not worried about you taking the pawn. Stuff is going on over here. My knight's not doing anything on c3.
You want to put that knight to f4.
Oh, look at that beautiful square. That's a lovely square. I can plant it there, and I can either come e6 or g6. So why not this idea knight e2? I mean, this is just such a natural way to play this position. I mean, if you take on b2, so what? You can have that pawn. I do not care about that pawn.
And probably play rook b1 now, or you don't even care.
I might not even bother. I might just take on g6.
Or start with knight f4.
Or start with knight f4, something like this. Yeah, maybe start. Let's just go knight f4. Keep things rolling over on that side of the board. And now I've got some big threats with this knight.
Knight e6 is a big threat already.
Yeah. Knight e6 is a massive threat, and pawn takes g6 is a threat. So I don't know. Okay, I wouldn't like to play rook b1 because it stops me casting. I lose a bit of the energy in the position. You know, you push the h pawn. You've played very energetically, and now you're playing a slightly negative move. So okay, Fabiano puts his knight in e4. That's a beautiful square for the knight. We should say the player of the white pieces recently shared first place in the world under 20, third place in the world under 21 championships.
Under 20.
And Jeffrey Jean won that one.
Jeffrey.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
So Jeffrey Jean from the US, a very promising player.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that means the white player is very young, still under 20.
He is. He's a youngster.
So let's just see what happens.
Sure.
Rook b1, I agree, it's also not a move I would have played.
We say in England it's a bit wet.
Yeah.
It's a bit wet, you know. I don't know why it's wet. It's like a wet cabbage. You heard that one? It's a bit like a wet cabbage. Soggy. It's a soggy move. Soggy move. Okay, and now rook g8. Okay, and well, what's this next move?
Look at Hikaru's face. He's like, what the hell is going on here?
But why did you play this next move? What are you doing? Has this guy ever played with Harry in his life? I don't think he has. He castles now. What? I mean, I wouldn't play that. I mean, I want my rook to come to h7. Maybe it's a very good move, but it's just not something I consider.
It looks very counter everything.
Counter, yeah. I mean, I think get rid of this knight. Get rid of this knight on e4. That's a really good piece. Let's take that one off. Our bishop's not so great. I guess black takes with the f pawn. I'd assume. And now we start throwing the pieces at our opponent's king. Let's go forwards, not backwards. Backwards is for losers. Forwards is for champs. So we throw this one in, and we just go crazy. We want that to come to e6. This is the way to play. Why didn't you do this? What's wrong with this? I don't understand. Isn't this very good for white? Even now?
Can I play c5?
c5, okay. Am I going to... Oh, I've got this cheeky little one.
Oh, yeah.
I guess you had some. Yeah. Maybe knight f6? Knight f6? Possibly? I mean, I don't... Maybe it's holding on. We've got bishop g4 coming. Black's okay.
I mean, as I say, it's not easy for us sitting here just looking at the position at a glance, but this guy has actually been spending the last... What is it? Over 2 hours playing this position, surely he must have had something in mind when he cast it. But it just looks
it looks odd to go h5 and then castle, because, to be honest, I'm not sure why Harry has strayed so far here. And I think Fabiano's now, it seems like he's okay. He's got a strong knight. His rook, funnily enough now, is going to be excellently placed for attack. He just needs to develop and castle. But it's still an incredibly messy position. I might be being too negative for the way White's played here. And
we're being told that the White player was born in 98, so he's even just 18 at the most. 18,
right, okay.
So
we can see there in the background 2 English players. You've got Edmund Player. That's a great name. We were talking about names you'd like. I'd like the name Player, but I'd like to be called Tiger Player. Tiger Player. Wouldn't that be a great name? And he's talking to the young Adam, a strong...
Adam Taylor. Yeah.
Adam Taylor, very strong talent from England. So I was saying we don't have a great deal of talents, but Adam is certainly one of them, and he's a really nice guy as well.
Okay, so let's go to another game that's apparently very exciting. That's Das against Linderman.
Well, we saw Linderman yesterday swap straight into the ending.
Did he win the ending? I don't even know.
I guess he did if he's playing Das, yeah.
Oh, that's a good point.
He swapped straight off into the ending, didn't he? He must have ground that one down. And Linderman always plays the French defence. I feel a bit sorry for him, because I know what it feels like to play the French defence all your life. It doesn't always feel good. The problem, one of the reasons I've stopped playing it always, is I get positions like this. Very quickly look at the opening. I'm not going to spend a lot of time. It's a winner where B6 is the line I used to play, and I always got attacked in this line. This Queen G4 move, a move that Bobby Fischer used to employ a lot. This is a main line against it. Okay, you try to get rid of the light square bishops. You do get rid of them, but there's a nice manoeuvre now, and you have to play moves like King F7. I just don't want to put my king on F7 in the opening. And this is a very nice positional move, trying to open up the A file. And let's go very quickly. Knight B8, H4, playing on both sides. Lovely square for the knight. Black does have counterplay on the C file. Rook H4. Not sure where that's going, but maybe we'll find out. Rook's here, Knight G6, and Linderman has made counterplay. He has won a pawn. And now, look at this weird move. Knight to H8, check. Wow. That's bizarre. I think he's just going for a draw.
I was wondering that,
yeah. What a...
Don't say
it. I stopped myself just in time.
I saw what was coming, and I was like... It
was on the tip of my tongue. So
gave you a
what look. A good idea. Well, that's what I was about to say, wasn't it? So, Knight to H8 check, and... well, the thing is, I mean,
can't go to E8.
You can't go to E8 because...
I'll take on G7.
Queen takes G7, game over. It's checkmate, yeah. And if we go king to G8, bishop takes H6. Is well, you can't. Can you play this position on with Knight C6? Can you do this? Can you try to do this? Knight C6. Is that legal?
Well, I guess I can play Knight G6, and if you take, I have Knight E7.
Oh, okay. Let's have a look at that. So here, you take here, and now, wow, Knight E7 check. Let's see.
But I'm not winning. I thought I was winning the queen. I'm just hallucinating completely.
But it might actually be a great idea. I don't know. You got to bag it, you know. This is what you got. I do this all the time. I recommend a move which I actually think, hang on a minute, it's actually rubbish.
Because I was like, oh, discovery check, and I'll take the queen, and then I'm like, hold on, I'm standing next to the queen. But okay, maybe.
Yeah.
But no.
Yeah, doesn't quite work, does it? So, because if knight F6, you've got Queen G7.
Okay, so let's go back to Knight C6.
So maybe Black can play out like this, but it looks incredibly scary, doesn't it? Because you're actually just threatening to take the knight next move. You know, if I can take the knight, then I might survive the storm here. You know, so possibly.
But I was wondering, can I play Bishop takes G7?
Yeah. Okay.
And then Knight G6. And then just push Harry.
And then push Harry all the way. Okay.
And it might be a bit optimistic. Maybe just play King H7.
Oh, H7, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, again, it's
you kind of need this rook to go to g4, don't you? And it just, if that rook gets to g4, then maybe, I mean, this is still a fascinating position. It kind of feels like white should have something, shouldn't it? I mean, but I don't know what either. Do you move the bishop so you can push the pawn? Maybe that's the way to do it. So let's say we move the bishop. I don't know where. Probably
maybe there,
g5.
because then after h6 you get the f6 square.
Yeah, this is, and if I got knight g6ing next move,
so you have to take. Black has to take, and then h6.
Then h6, and now the rook's actually looking good, and the queen.
Okay, but what if I go g6?
Now Harry is landing. He is landing. He is certainly landing.
And
there.
I can't stop bishop.
Can't stop bishop f6. So yeah.
Okay.
So maybe it is a draw here. Maybe black has to take draw.
But no, what's happened there? Let's just go back to the game.
Yeah. So the game. Just click the moves so we get that. Did not. Okay. So it's gone knight h8 check, king f8, and white has now played knight g6 check. And well, Linderman's
and now
thinking,
he's gone to but he's gone to e8 now.
Oh, he's gone to e8 now. Okay, so Linderman is playing for a win. Well, this is the way you should punish your opponents, isn't it? If they're begging for a draw, you should definitely try to punish them. If they really want to draw, you go, no, I'm going to beat you. Looks risky though, doesn't it?
Looks risky, because that's the thing. Like, of course you can get rewarded, but you can also get punished.
Kicked to the bottom.
So what does white do now?
Okay, well, let's try and move the knight somewhere again.
I'm annoyed by this rook on h4, which doesn't have...
No, it doesn't.
I feel like maybe we should bring it to f4 and then play g4, but it's so slow.
I mean, I could just try to go knight h8. If I want to get a draw, I could just go knight h8 maybe. And the point is, if you move the knight on e7, if your king...
Queen g6? Oh, what's your point?
I'm going to take on h6 maybe. Maybe play this move, but I don't know if it's good. Yeah, this is mate, isn't it? Because if you take, it's checkmate now. I go check and knight g6 checkmate. So
the second nice mate of the day.
Yeah. I mean, okay, Linderman trying to keep the game going, but I think it actually should be. It should be, to be honest. Probably should be white who's trying to keep the game going, because white's got all these dangerous pieces around the king.
I mean, you never know. Like, we were giving him stick for going for the draw, but it could be, like a lot of people do this, they repeat once to maybe gain some time or get closer to move 40, so we don't know if he was actually going for a draw.
Yeah, it's true.
So
maybe
shouldn't draw a conclusion. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, another way you could play this, I'm just seeing, if this is the position, why can't you just play knight takes e7 here straight away and put your bishop on a3? I mean, there's a lot of options here. I mean, I suppose black just has to defend. I mean, if you really like playing these positions, if you like defending, then this is okay. But I've really gone off this kind of variation. You can see there's so much danger here for black, and you just have to be careful. Okay.
But what do we do with this rook on h4?
I don't know. I think it's. I mean, we'll come back to this one a bit later, shall we? I mean, it looks pretty bad.
Can I play? What if I give another check?
Check here. I mean, you've got bishop a3 as well. This check here. Well, I think queen f7.
Okay, yeah, bishop a3 looks good actually.
Yeah, I was thinking here, bishop a3, queen f7 has to be played, and then you're right. This rook needs to get in the game. It needs to get in the game.
I want to somehow play rook f4 and g4, but maybe I can play queen b3 or d3.
Yeah. And try to get in here. It's still dangerous for black. It's still very dangerous for black, all these lines as well.
Because he's very undeveloped and he doesn't really have the time to... He's struggling to finish his development.
Yeah.
I quite like this for white, I have to say.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, next game. So we haven't looked at our good friend Lawrence Trent, and he is playing against the legendary Shirov, like one of my favourite players of all time, who's just a tactical genius. So we will go to that game now. And it looked like Lawrence was trying to do a little bit of, I don't know, a little bit of boring positional manoeuvring.
With this video, with this camera shot, we can spot the players.
Oh, spot the players, okay.
Can you spot Lawrence? I found it, well, obviously I found him before I asked you.
Okay, spot the players. Where is Lawrence?
You should know, well, maybe you haven't been to the playing hall, actually.
Okay, but where is Lawrence? Where are you, Loz?
You saw him in the shot earlier next to Mickey.
I can see Tiger.
He's also wearing a blue jacket, which is...
Okay. On the left?
Yeah, on the left. Very left.
Very left.
And Shirov is dressed very smartly.
Yes,
He's wearing this shirt and tie.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen them... Oh, now
there we go.
They are getting in the way, Mickey, and
tell them to move.
Yeah.
Can someone just go down and tell Mickey and his opponent to just move, please? Can you move aside, because we really want to see Lawrence Trent. We want to see the legendary Lawrence. We don't want you, Mickey, in the shot. Come on, Lawrence. We want to see Lawrence. Okay, well, I have to say I'm a bit surprised that Lawrence is trying to play a slow manoeuvring game. Maybe this is a good way to play against Shirov, because Shirov is an amazing tactician. So you're trying not to bring Shirov into what he's strongest at, tactics.
I remember the last time Lawrence attempted an aggressive tactical game against Swidler in the Bundesliga. Did you see that game?
No, did it go well?
It didn't go well at all.
What happened?
I don't remember exactly how it went, but Lawrence played an early G5 against Swidler.
Right.
And
backfired.
Yeah, I'm not sure Lawrence lived to see move 20.
Okay, so this is why he's changed his style against Shirov.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right, so we go through the moves very quickly from when we last saw it, and it does look like it's going to be a long game, let's say that. And we had some exchange on d5. The thing is, when you're playing white against, someone as strong as Shirov, if you don't play sharply, you might just get outplayed, and you're going to give your opponent easier quality. And I'm a bit worried that this might be what happens here. Look, pieces getting exchanged. That knight goes into f5, might look scary. Shirov just offering the exchange. And this has got to be equal already. Knight g6, c3, bishop g5. I mean, it's just equal, isn't it? I think there's nothing. The pawn structure is symmetrical.
Yeah.
So that's obviously something we've got to consider here. And there's not much going on. I mean, Shirov, the higher rate player, might be able to grind his opponent down here. I don't know. Yeah.
And we're being told that we should go back to board 3, where Gary is apparently having some action.
Let's do it. So
Hikaru Nakamura against Vishnu Prasanna.
This is a really interesting game.
So Hikaru didn't play. We were looking at f4, but maybe if it was too dangerous, he went for queen a5 instead. I'm assuming after f4 he was therefore worried about bishop takes f4, which I don't know. Okay, well he must have calculated that. He's gone queen a5, and this guy Vishnu is playing like a lunatic. He's literally playing like a complete loon. He goes f3, bishop h6. Okay, so Hikaru go for a more positional game. He just wants to exchange pieces and use these pawns later on and finish his development. And now... No such thing, says Vishnu.
Gary 4, g4, here he goes. Oh, look at that move. That was a confident move.
Banged out.
That was a banger, wasn't it? Yeah. Do you actually notice that people playing, their moves in different styles, and he's a banger. He's a banger. He's banging them out confidently. That is a man who thinks he's won the game already, don't you think? He's boom, boom, boom. I think he's very happy with his position, Hikaru. And I guess the thing is here, Hikaru has played this move extremely quickly. White has to take this pawn back. And now black has a decision to make. So if black takes on g4, this destroys black's pawn structure and makes a way through to g6. So
and another banger.
Yeah, another banger. So there goes that shy knight. So black doesn't want to do this because a move like bishop d3 and black is on defensive. Instead, Hikaru keeps his nice central pawns here. And sometimes it's not worth winning a pawn if you can just keep, because you have to destroy your pawn structure. And he keeps his pawns together by simply moving his knight now to e7. And these pawns look tremendously good. They've got lots of potential, probably to move forwards rather than capturing anything. And there's also pressure on the queen side for black. I think Hikaru is confident for a reason.
Yeah. And
he's banging his moves out. I mean, if
somehow this position turned around so quickly, because a few moves back, I wasn't sure what to think of Hikaru's position. He barely developed any pieces.
Sign of a very strong player. Yeah. Have you ever met any screwers before?
Piece.
That's what I was. I just wanted to check what you were thinking of. Piece screwers, of course. Because you get the bangers. We've seen Hikaru banging the moves out, but you also get the screwers. And when they move their piece, and we'll try to catch one on camera. It's like a wildlife show now.
I think there aren't too many though.
there's not. I think Mickey has been known to screw in his life, and what happens then is they move the pawns and they screw the pawn in to the square. So like they're screwing it in, basically with that.
Okay, let's leave it at that, and let's go.
It's very interesting how people move the pieces.
Let's go to board 2, where Harika has spent 50 minutes on her last move, which is
that's a long time.
It's a long time, yeah.
Oh, this was a very interesting position, wasn't it? So, well, it might actually go the way we thought it was going to go. This potential draw. And I don't think Wesley looks so happy there, does he? It's hard to say. So
I think So is very hard to read.
Very hard to read, yeah. He's very determined.
Doesn't show too many emotions. But if I had to venture a guess, I would say he's not as happy as Howell. And her reports are always well worth reading.
Yes, yeah, she's great photographer. Yeah. And we have Leonard here as well, who's also a good photographer I've seen. So, yeah, one of his many skills. So,
a man of many talents.
A man of many talents, yeah. How do you move the pieces, Leonard? Are you? No.
Are you?
We'll ask you in the break. Okay,
so what's been going on?
Okay, so it's gone the way we thought it may go, and Hou, I think, if you draw with black against a player as strong as Wesley So, that's a great result. So she's gone.
So she did spend 50 minutes on this move.
Yeah.
Knight G4.
And now Wesley has to really take on B8. And
he took very quickly, but it's very likely he did think about this on her time, on the time she spent on Knight G4.
Yeah. And now the question we're wondering is this Queen D4, is this going to be a draw, or is Wesley going to really take some very big risks? Queen D4 check. I'd say I'm quite impressed with the way Hou's played this. She's played aggressively. She hasn't just, again, sat back like a lot of people did yesterday. She's played actively and aggressively. What's she played? Oh no, she hasn't played a move yet. So Queen D4 check. And the critical line we're looking at was King H1. And now, well, Rook takes F1, Queen takes F1, Knight to F2 check. And if White wants to avoid a draw, and of course Wesley will try to think of everything to avoid the draw, he has to take the knight, because if you move the king, it's just a draw. The knight goes back, check. Well, you could even do some other things as well, but this is just a draw. So in this position, if Wesley wants to win, then we could by force get this variation. Queen takes F2. Queen takes F2, and now, well, I was considering the move C7 here with a really weird I mean, that's the only way to describe this position, isn't it? It's just weird. It's just absolutely bonkers. You go C7, you trap the rook.
And now you were even looking at Bishop H3.
And I was even looking at, and I was thinking, now can Hou force a draw with Bishop H3? Because if she can force a draw, then Wesley shouldn't go into this.
Look at the crowd around the board.
Yeah.
I mean, this has to be one of the. We see Julio Granda, one of my all-time favorite players. He's such a legend of the game.
He is, yeah, from Peru, yeah?
Yeah, I was devastated. Did you see he got to a live rating of 2699.3?
Oh, really?
And then
he should have played me.
He should have.
So that would have guaranteed him to get a point or two.
And then he didn't have the best of summers, I believe, but one of the few players, what's very interesting about him is he doesn't use computers so much.
Right.
Like, he doesn't follow modern theory, but he's just such a talented, such a gifted player.
Yeah.
And a lovely, very down-to-earth, very kind man.
Yeah. Yeah,
a great football player as well, I should say.
Really?
Yeah.
Right,
Saw him play in Reykjavik.
Okay.
Very impressive stuff.
Okay, good stuff.
We should have a look at one of his games someday as well, but let's stick with this one now.
I mean, I was just wondering here, in this forced variation, where if Wesley plays for a win, does Bishop H3 force a draw? Because if this force a draw by perpetual, then Wesley will have to take the draw before this, if you see what I mean. There's no point giving your opponent the option of doing this. Well, to start with, I don't think it does, because Wesley can always play Bishop D5, worst case scenario. Can always play this. And this is, okay, so we see this happening. We can see this line occurring as we go. And C7, would you play this position on? I mean, you've got two pieces for the queen. You've only got a bishop and knight for the queen. You're taking risks by playing this on. Would you play this on? Would you take this risk, do you think, Fiona? Do you think this is instinctively worth it for White? Does White have enough compensation? I kind of doubt it here, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be very interested to see this position being played.
We're getting there. We're actually getting there. Yeah. We can see on the board that
unless he does just unless Wesley So admits this opening. This game has gone slightly wrong and he just goes for the draw.
It's funny because I was saying earlier...
I mean, if he sees this position we have on our analysis board and he reckons he might be seriously worse, then he will settle for a draw. I don't think Wesley So is a player to take too much risk.
Yeah, no. And funny, I mean, earlier I was saying that Wesley had a great opening, but that's not looking so true now. And I'm still trying to assess this potential position after c7. I'm just finding it very hard. I mean, I guess black can just start taking pawns here. And I think in order, you know, if Wesley does want to gamble, he could go for this. But I'm kind of starting to feel that it's a load of rubbish for white, to be honest, because I'm not sure how white is going to generate good play here with these free pieces. So we see this happening. So we just stick with this a little bit more. I would love to see if Wesley's going to do this. So at the moment, we'll go back to the game. So we have rook takes f1. Queen takes f1. It's Houryka to play here. Houryka has gone knight to f2 check. So Wesley now has to decide, does Wesley take the draw? I don't think Houryka can play for more than a draw here. I think it's only a draw. And she's got up from the board looking quite confident. So is it a repetition now? Or does Wesley roll the dice and go queen takes knight? And rolling the dice is going to... Any result could then be possible. We could even lose this one.
And it's also worth mentioning, and first of all, look at the crowd here on camera.
Yeah.
Very interesting game, and it's worth mentioning Wesley scored a few decisive points in Baku while having a cold, so a very resilient player, but still, I think if he assesses the position after queen takes f2, queen takes, to be worse for him.
He'll take the
I
draw.
guess he'll take the draw.
Yeah, because Houryka's no mug.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, she's an incredibly strong player. You can't, you know, she's a really good grandmaster. So if you think you're going to be worse, you take the draw. You don't gamble too much because you'll lose. She'll beat you. Have you ever played anyone with a cold before? I mean, I've had this before. I mean, it's horrible when you've got a cold and you have to play chess, because it's also horrible when you play someone who's like, you know, basically Niagara Falls is coming out their nose and you've got to do something about it. It's not pleasant. But okay, we can even see Mike Klein there. Let's come back to this one a little bit later, I think, because we're going to wait and see. Well,
I thought he was about to move.
I would imagine he will spend a lot of time deciding whether to take that knight or not. It's not something you do quickly, because you probably realising you're rolling the dice.
Yeah, but I think he's seen this position coming up ever since Houryka spent all this time on knight g4. I think already at that point he saw this position.
Yeah. Be interesting to know what people at home think about this position. Do you think Wesley will take the draw here, or do you think Wesley will sacrifice the queen for two minor pieces? What will Wesley do? Will he take the draw or will he gamble? You think he'll gamble? Okay, well, we have Harry. There's another idea here I've just thought of. If you go queen takes f2, and now instead of c7, can you play bishop g3, queen takes here? I think this is too slow. I wanted to play bishop d5. But there's queen takes b2. I mean, just about in time. Queen takes b2 saves this.
What if you play bishop d5 immediately?
I think just rook takes bishop. If bishop d5.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, I got to get that one out of dodge. Get it out of dodge first.
Oh dear, oh dear.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll wait and see, and let's move on to another game now. And so where
let's go back to Naiditch. We saw his game earlier. He was following the footsteps of the legendary Bobby Fischer, but Bobby Fischer had recommended playing with b3 rather than a3. No, with a3 rather than b3.
Yeah.
So let's see what happened.
Okay, so queen b6, and now it'd be very interesting. We can learn a lot here. This is the kind of position I always tell people when they're trying to learn an opening. Don't just look at the opening moves. Look at the ideas that top players play in the middle game. Because I don't know if I would play this next move that Arkady plays. Arkady moves his only really active piece, which is the knight on g4. He now moves it back to h2. So why did he do that? And this is the thing you've got to ask yourself at home again. Why did the player play that certain move? What are they trying to do? And I think it's clear that for white to win this position, he needs to exchange dark square bishops off so that he can get access, hopefully for his queen, into g7 and long term. So after rook c8, Arkady's gone knight to f3, and I'm assuming he's planning bishop g5. The next move I don't like. I don't like this next move from black, a3. When you're playing on an area of the board you're strongest, why close it down? Because you're really now saying, okay,
I'll just defend on the king side.
Yeah, I just defend. Because why not keep the option of taking on b3 as a move? You're limiting your options, aren't you? I don't like a3. Bishop g5 played, trying to exchange those pieces off. Black keeps them, figuring that that bishop is going to be a good piece. Queen d2, rook c3, and all of black's counterplay is on the c file. Bishop h4. So why did he play that? Again, another rather mysterious
confusing game, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand Arkady's moves here. Why this one? I think his idea is...
Does he want to get the knight back? No.
I think he wants to go knight at the right moment. He probably wants to go queen f4 and knight g5 so that f7 is going to collapse. Maybe that's his idea. Rook a7, so that's...
I'm already seeing all sorts of... I think it's your influence. It's just waves.
The craziness.
The crazy waves.
The crazy waves are coming off me.
Yeah, I was looking at something like knight g5, bishop takes d5, followed by e6.
Oh, I love it. The crazy waves are working well. God, you'll be an absolute lunatic by the end of this commentary, won't you? You'll play your next game, you'll give up 5 pawns in the first 10 moves, you go, that's Simon, those crazy waves.
For me, it's not, we were discussing what influence chess weddings have. For me, it won't be like a wedding bad or good influence, it'd be your
waves.
I'll drop hundreds of points just because I was doing commentary with you, not because I got married. But
the dodgy waves coming off me. But you're quite an aggressive player, aren't you?
I am.
I mean, I've seen your games. You're a bit of a hacker as well.
Yeah.
So, you know. Yeah.
Pat's a hacker.
No, that's harsh. That's harsh. Pat's a hacker.
Yeah, but
that'd be a good T-shirt, actually. I like that. I'm a Pat's a hacker. That's all I am. Okay. I mean, a couple moves here. Queen c5.
And he does play queen f4.
And in he goes. And, well, I mean, I still want to be white here because you've got more attacking chances, haven't you? But, I mean, weird manoeuvres, though. Moving the knight on g4 around here and moving the bishop here is something I wouldn't consider. And they look quite ingenious in some respects. I don't know what happens if black takes on c2 here. I mean, that is something that you obviously have to...
I guess he's probably thinking about it
just grab the pawn. Yeah. Why not? I mean, what crazy waves are you going to go for here, Fiona? Have you got any crazy waves? I mean,
so what if we try knight g5?
I guess knight g5. Well, I mean, I could take on e2, but that's kind of asking for...
What does mate in 2?
Is there? Yes, there is. Yes. Okay. Yes.
That's my Patzer waves. I'm
so
sending back my Patzer waves.
The Patzer waves are coming. I didn't actually finish my sentence. I was going to say he could take an f7, but it would be mate on 2. Could take on e2, but yeah. So knight g5. I guess you have to go knight b6 then to use this rook. And now you need some kind of...
Now we need a crazy...
You need something mad. Bishop h3. Something... You know, but then bishop c8, you're kind of defending everything, kind of. Unless, again, complicated position, but is there a breakthrough here? I don't know.
I'm looking... No. It's too much.
I can't see a breakthrough.
Yeah, no, me neither.
I mean, I think probably the way white... I mean, if white has to... But if you can't do this, then what are you doing? What are you doing? I don't know. I don't know what Arkady's planning here. If he takes on c2, what have we missed? There must be something strong here. I mean, do you take here and then take on d4? Kind of feels my knight's going the wrong way then. Could try that one, but not in particularly impressive.
I can even take on d3.
Yeah, take everything.
Yeah, I don't like this. What are we missing?
Still quite a lot of danger here. Knight c6, bishop f1, just rook c1. All these moves are quite dangerous. You know what we do when things get hard, when the going gets tough? What do we do?
We switch games.
We switch games. On to the next game. So it's not that when the game gets tough, the tough get going. No, we switch games. So back to Adams. No, we'll try to work that one out a bit later on, but
once they've worked it out for us.
Once they've worked it out for us, and then we say, oh yeah, that's the way it went. So yeah, and we don't use the computer here. So
Mickey Adams, one of the most interesting games of the day against Jan Christian Schröder.
I think we'd take a break after this one as well. So where are we?
Up.
Where?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. What is this? Is a pure ending now. What kind of ending is this? This is well. Okay. Well, let's have a look what happened, because this was a fascinating game. Obviously, very theoretical discussion. And now, I mean, Christian checked, and he did take this pawn. Why not? If you've got a pawn to take, you take it. Now here, I'm surprised he didn't put his queen on h5 here, a very useful pin. But he put it on h3, maybe so that he can use his h-pawn. Queen d1, so Mickey doing his super spider skills, and he wants to move that queen into an active square like d5. The queen centralizes, knight d4. And now we have a queen exchange coming up quite shortly, and we get this position here with rook b8 being played, and I have to say...
Yeah, knight c7 is on the board.
Knight
rook
c7.
b2.
Okay, I mean...
And king f3.
I mean, well, I mean, I'm obviously known as a master in the endgame, so I can probably tell you exactly what's going on here, but before I do that, what do you think, Fiona? I mean...
it's a very interesting, a very unusual endgame.
Very unusual ending. Very unusual. I mean, normally the rook is good in the ending.
I have absolutely no clue, I have to say.
I mean, normally this rook...
Not the slightest.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you who's better.
No.
I couldn't tell you would I want to be white up. I guess I would want to be white again.
I think I'd probably want to be white here as well, strangely enough, but I'm not even sure about that. I mean, the only thing I'm thinking, normally the rook is good in the ending against the two minor pieces, but here the extra pawn that black has on this side of the board is not really going anywhere.
Yeah.
It's
and
not.
The c-pawn is now looking quite dangerous.
Yeah,
supported by the two minor pieces.
Yeah, definitely. You might have to give your rook for this pawn because it's just going to go slowly forwards, and I think it's.
I think Mickey is going to take.
I think he will. I think Mickey has weaved his magic again.
Yeah.
I don't know how he does it. How does he weave his magic like this? It's crazy, you know.
Spider waves.
Spider waves, yeah. Not the Pats waves, the ginger waves, or the hacky waves. The spider waves.
Wave, yeah.
Okay, right. Well, I think we're going to take a break now. We've only had one break so far, and we'll be going for quite a while now. But we'll be back again shortly.
I think we're nearing the time control, so a lot more action coming up. There's still quite a few games we haven't looked at. All our top games, very interesting. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Chess.com is about playing. At any moment, there are thousands of people from around the world playing on chess.com. So whether you're a total beginner or a grandmaster, you'll find a game quickly with someone at your level. You can play at any pace, from 1-minute bullet to 5-minute blitz to 60-minute games. Or you can play more relaxed games where you have several days to make your move. There are tournaments starting every few minutes. Or you can play against our customizable coaching computer. Chess.com is for learning. Chess isn't just about playing, it's about getting better. Chess.com puts the best training tools at your fingertips. Sharpen your game with over 50,000 tactics puzzles. Improve your strategy with training videos by top grandmasters. Get instant feedback after your games with real-time computer analysis. Regardless of where you're at now, you can take your game to the next level. Chess.com is for sharing. Join the community where you can discuss chess ideas in the forums and follow the latest chess news. Or join a club with friends and play in a league against other clubs. You can find all this in your browser at home and at work, or on the go with your phone or tablet. Signing up is free and easy. So what are you waiting for? Enjoy your game.
What were the best moves and biggest blunders from Baku? Hikaru Nakamura tells us what it feels like to be a gold medal winner, and the biggest news of the year, it's Nakamura versus Carlsen on October 27th, live from the 2016 Chess.com meetup.
This is Chess Center!
And we're here with Olympic gold medalist Grandmaster Hikaru Nakamura, fresh back from his trip in Baku. And as I understand it, in your last round you were deathly sick. Captain John Donaldson was going to drag you out of bed. Is that as sick as you've played a chess game before?
No, I wouldn't say that's the sickest I've been. Strangely, it seems that the past few Olympiads I always seem to get pretty sick at the end, and unfortunately it's ruined a couple of the events. I've lost a game towards the end, but nevertheless, I mean, had I rested in the final round, I think it would have put a lot more pressure on our bottom boards. And the strength for the U.S. team really was having a third Grandmaster who was about 2,800. And whether that was me, whether it's Wesley or Fabiano, I think that's fairly irrelevant. But basically, you have to have you have to be pushing the strength down as far down as you can on the board. So I think it was important that I played the last round.
You got through it with a draw, and now earlier in the tournament, in round 7 against Serbia, you had this knight takes g6 move against Grandmaster Marcus. Was that your move of the tournament, or am I overlooking something?
In my tournament, yeah, I think that was the best move that I played. So it was a very nice way to finish off the game, win a quick game in the 5th round, and then just relax.
Years ago, you told me you wanted to win a gold medal with Gadakomsky on the team. Bittersweet at all that you got your gold, but without him?
I wouldn't say it was bittersweet. Certainly it was nice. I think for me, probably the one thing that's strange is that it was the first time I played an Olympiad without Gada or Alex. And so really, in a way, I feel like I'm the last pair left. I guess my journey in the Olympiad started in 2006, and so it was Gada, Alex. I think Var played that time, I'm not sure, but also John was captain. So kind of it's like John and I are the last kind of remnants from the past generation or from past Olympiads. So it was quite nice at least to win a gold medal, and at least someone was around from when I first played in 2006.
There you have it. He has 2 bronzes, now a gold in his resume. He's now the senior statesman on the team, Grandmaster Hikaru Nakamura.
Robert, for our move of the week, we're going to take a look back to the Olympiad, where so many great games were played in Baku, but perhaps no one playing more consistent chess than the Georgian #1. And now, I'm not a religious man, but I do study the book of Jobava. Show everybody how Bador giveth the bishop, but taketh away the protection of black's kingside against Ruslan Ponomarev.
Yeah, Danny, here Ponomarev must have thought his position was safe, but not so fast. Bishop to h6, blasting open the black kingside. After pawn takes h6, queen went over and took on h6, and here Ponomarev tried to get some initiatives with rook takes c3, but after queen g5 check, king f8, queen takes f6, the attack continued. Black tried rook takes d3 and actually resigned after pawn takes d3. The reason being that a protective move like rook to e8 does not work out. The simple rook to e1 actually does the trick, throwing rook takes e6. And if black goes rook takes e7, now queen h8 delivers checkmate.
Lots of tactics there, but don't be frustrated, home fans. The point is, a beautiful attack is finished off nicely, and Jobava takes our move of the week.
Hey, Rafa. Have you seen my medal?
What are you talking about?
Peter Dockers was on site in Baku covering the Olympiad. He's here now to give us the big stories on how things wrapped up.
Absolutely, Danny. Well, for the very first time in 40 years, it was the USA who won the gold medal in Baku. They edged out Ukraine on tiebreak, with both finishing on 20 match points. never seen before actually at an Olympiad. And it was a top seeds Russia. Again, not winning gold, not silver, they ended up winning bronze.
But it was an exciting finish, including the tiebreak controversy. Now, let's move on to things and how things broke down in the women's division.
Yeah, also there Russia had a disappointing result. They didn't even win any medal there. In the last round they played against China, who are already 2 points ahead. And China won that thrilling final clash to win the gold medals. And well, Poland was the team in the women's that got silver and bronze.
Hey you guys, have you seen my gold medal?
No.
All right.
No. And speaking of Hikaru Nakamura, ladies and gentlemen, this week the big announcement that he will be playing Magnus Carlsen in the finals of the Grandmaster Blitz Battle Championship. Tell everybody when that will be.
Well, 27 October, so mark your calendars. It will be 10 a.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Central European Time on 27 October. It's going to be on chess.com/TV and Twitch. And I am definitely one of many chess fans going to watch that.
The world will be watching. We'll be there trying to keep up with those two speed demons in what is arguably the biggest chess event for 2016. As awkward as it sounds, Robert, everyone loves a good self-mate. Show the people how Blagojevich blundered his way onto Chess Center this week.
Well, Blagojevich clearly does not watch Game of Thrones, because if he did, he would have learned from Stannis Baratheon. He should have retreated his king, which would have led to equality. Instead, he marched his king forward to h6 and actually resigned after the move Queen h1 check, because it's a forced checkmate after King g5, Queen h5 check, King to f4, and now Queen f5 is made on the board.
Gotta love the smell of blunders in the morning.
Hey Robert, have you seen my medal view since my interview with Mike?
Hey Karu, I think I saw Danny with it at the beach.
That's weird.
Hello everyone and welcome back to round 2 of the Isle of Man International Chess Tournament, sponsored by Chess.com and the Scheinberg family. I'm very happy to be joined by Hikaru Nakamura, who just won his round 2 game, still on a 100% score. How are you feeling today?
Pretty good. Today was a smooth win. I mean, it's always nice to win a smooth, quick game with black especially, so I'm pretty happy thus far. It's a pretty good start.
So maybe before I ask you some questions about how you're liking it here, etc., do you want to talk us through the game?
Sure, yeah. So, all right, so the opening, actually the opening was pretty strange from the get-go, in fact. Okay, so it's the Najdorf, h3, e5, knight d2, h5. Yeah, and here Vishnu played bishop e3, which I'm sure I've looked at it before, but I couldn't quite recall at the board what the right continuation is. Obviously, after h5, bishop g5 is one line. Anand played knight d5 against me, so there are many different lines here, but bishop e3 seems like a principled move as well, so played bishop e6. Knight d5, takes, knight bd7. All these moves I think are pretty standard. G6. Queen d2 is important. If for example white plays, let's just say a4 here, I think bishop h6 here is pretty good for black. So queen d2 is important. Rook c8, a4. Yeah, and here I used quite a bit of time.
Yeah, Simon was joking, wondering if you'd forgotten the basic principles of chess on developing your pieces.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's some similar lines in the English attack with f3. The pawn will say on f3 and h2, where you can go some kind of knight g8. Obviously, the placement of the pieces is a little bit different, but I remember that from the game and. Or from what I had looked at years ago, so it seemed like an interesting move. I didn't really see anything else that was concrete, and I just thought perhaps if I didn't do that, it would be too easy for white to play. Because say I play, I don't know, let's say bishop g7, for example, bishop e2. Actually, I can't castle right away because then there's going to be some g4 stuff. But even if I play, let's just say queen a5, rook a3. I don't know, let's just say rook c7, castles. I still wasn't sure what's happening here after g4. So I thought it was just too easy for white to play, and I wanted to make things a little bit complicated, so I played knight g8. And I didn't exactly see anything just wrong with knight g8 either. So here rook a3 I think was inaccurate, as I told Vishnu after the game. So I think in this position, if white's basically going to allow this bishop h6 idea, then I think that white should probably just play a5, bishop h6, and just kind of play the structure, something like bishop d3, takes, queen takes e3, and I mean I think black is okay here, but I think at least with the pawn on a5 long term, white might be able to do something with rook a3, rook b3, because also it's not so clear where I'm putting my king. I mean, I can maybe play some king f8, king g7 ideas, but it's all a little bit unclear.
So you feel here after f5 you already took the upper hand?
Yeah, because I mean the problem with rook a3 is it's a waste of tempo because rook b3 is never really a threat. Like here, rook b3 for example, not sure what the best move is, but just simply rook c7, and at some point, I mean, the real problem with putting the rook on b3 is it's going to get attacked at some point by knight c5. Like, say bishop e2, bishop h6, just for example, castles. There's always going to be some knight c5, and the rook's going to end up being really stupid on b3. So that's why I think rook a3 is just it's a flawed concept, which I think causes white a lot more problems than are necessary. So yeah, so f5, h4, queen a5, it's important to note.
Yeah, Simon and I were wondering about f4.
Yeah, I mean, f4 might be fine too, but I just didn't like the structure here after queen d3. Yeah, I mean, obviously I can't take because there's queen g6, king e7, and checkmate. But even here, if I play, I mean, even knight e7 might be okay, but I was just a little bit, I thought this whole position was a little bit strange, like some knight f5, bishop d3, and I mean, I don't know, it's probably fine for black as well, but I just wasn't really in love with the structure. So I thought someday, I mean, white's going to put a knight on e4 and then go for g3 at some point, like just as an example, something like takes, bishop e7, and something like, I don't know, maybe g3 here perhaps. I wasn't so sure. I suspect the black should be fine, but again, I thought the play was too simple for white, and I wasn't wasn't crazy about it. So when I saw this Queen A5 move, stopping A5, I was very happy because also I wanted to do this, but if I play Bishop H6, I wasn't concerned, but I thought again something like Knight H6 A5, and I mean long term white might be able to go for some like B4, Knight A4, and C4, something along these lines, and I wasn't so sure. So I was very happy when I was able to spot Queen A5, stopping A5, and also keeping this Bishop H6 idea in tow as well. So here F3 was played. I mean already it's very hard. I'm not really sure what white is trying to do, because if I get Bishop H6, I think I'm completely fine. And yeah, so here, I mean, okay, my opponent just lost his mind kind of F3 Bishop H6, and he played G4, which
I was very surprised, I have to say, at how quickly the things happened here. How quickly you suddenly wrapped it up.
Yeah, but I mean, it's...
Do you think just G4 or even before that?
No, I mean, I think here it's already, I mean, white's already lost the threat. It's already, I think, a little bit better for black. So, I mean, I think at this point he was a little bit up, and he wanted to try to do something active rather than just struggle in a worse position. Just play G4. I mean, the only problem is it kind of just loses right away, because after Knight E7, in fact, I mean, white's king is in fact much more open than black's king here. And yeah, and so after Queen D2, Queen B4, Rook B3 takes. Yeah, it's important to note, I mean, even here if GF5, there's always Rook takes C3, Rook takes C3, Queen E4, winning the Rook on H1. So yeah, so you played Rook B3, Queen G4, and he took. Actually, just back up here quickly for a second, though. Also, like, I mean, even here there are lines like GF5, GF5, like even Queen G5, for example. I think I have a couple moves. King F7 probably works, but I also like this Knight C5 move, Queen F6, King D7, and again, I mean, Rook F8 is coming, Queen B4 is coming. I mean, white's just completely lost here. So yeah, so I mean. Yeah, and then he played Rook takes B7, but here already, I mean, I think it's already close to loss as long as I don't do like, I mean, something silly like Rook F1, you know, Rook B7. As long as I don't do something silly like this, allowing the discovered checking Queen takes Queen. But I mean, but just something simple like Queen G3, King D1, Rook D4, Bishop D3. I don't know, Knight C5 or E4. It's all just winning. So yeah, so Rook B7 was played, and he resigned after Rook C3 just because Queen C3, Queen E4. If you put the king on D2, there's Queen takes D5 even, and just, I mean, Queen takes B7. And if you go King F2, just Queen takes H1, Queen C7 takes, King E2, Queen G4. I think you can just basically, it's a staircase. You basically just keep checking, and then eventually you're going to get a check with the rook, and then it's just going to be mate in a couple. So yeah, so it was a pretty good game. Yeah.
So a nice start for you here in the Isle of Man. I'm not going to keep you too long because we have another guest in the studio. Howrika is waiting for a turn. So just a few quick questions. I guess it's your first time in the Isle of Man?
No, it's not actually. I played here in 2005, I want to say. It was like 2005, 2006. I haven't actually checked. But
it wasn't in Douglas, right?
It was somewhere else. It's where there's that like mini castle, and there are all those hotels and buildings on the water. I think in this you know, in the signage for the event even it's no, not that one. There's Port Erin. Okay, there's. I mean, I know there's a banner I saw for this tournament which has that view. But yeah, it's great to be here. I mean, I'm pretty happy, and obviously, I mean, it's a different lifetime ago when I played before, but it's a nice place, and the weather's good, people are friendly, and it reminds me of Gibraltar, and so hopefully I'll do well. Well,
talking of Gibraltar, I was going to say, Simon and I were talking about how nice it is to have you elite players playing in open tournaments, and you've won Gibraltar this year, you've won Millionaire Chess in the past. How do you like playing in open tournaments?
I do enjoy playing in open tournaments. I mean, I have to say, Gibraltar, I mean, I've played it many times over the years. I think, you know, I'm really indebted, I mean, both to Brian Callahan and Stuart Conquest. I mean, they've built that tournament up when I was playing in the early years. I mean, it was a strong tournament, but it didn't have elite players, and now it's a world-class event. So I'm very happy to play in opens, whether it's Gibraltar, whether it's here, where I mean, it's the Scheinberg family, which is which is the main sponsor of this event. So opens are fun to play, and I think mainly because you just get to play different players, and you know, it's not the same players, same openings like, you know, you have in the Grand Chess Tour. I mean, there are benefits obviously to those events as well, but it's much different. And in a way, it's nice because you kind of get to enjoy chess in a way. You know, in a way, at least for me, that I haven't, you know, in a while from playing just in the elite events.
And a very last question: you're playing here with your fiance. How is that when you go to tournaments together?
I mean, I think it's tough because obviously we are at a different level. I mean, in terms of our chess abilities. So, I mean, it's difficult because there are a lot of games that I look at, and especially when it involves players who are weaker, there tend to be a lot of blunders in the games. It's not, you know, like if you look at these at the top level elite games. I mean, I would say maybe if it's badly played, you have like 2 serious errors in the game. Usually, it's like, you know, 3 or 4 very, very minor inaccuracies, and so when you see errors very frequently, it's quite difficult. But still, I mean, I think the way I rationalize it is that I used to be, you know, I used to not be that strong either. So I just try to be supportive and try to help her as best I can.
Great. Well, thank you very much for your time, for coming by, and best of luck for the other games, next games. So everyone stayed. We're off. Okay.
Well, it's been a great day today. We've had some brilliant games and we've got some great guests as well, so things are going very well, and it's an honour to have Hou here, who's going to show her brilliant draw, very interesting draw against Wesley So, the second seed in the tournament. So I'll ask you some questions afterwards, Hou, but it was a very interesting game.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and I enjoyed my game because it's very rarely we get this position with a higher level player, and I just try to enjoy the calculation and position.
You seem to calculate very well. So do you want to show us the critical moments of the game?
Sure.
And okay.
So I didn't expect this completely because generally he plays main open Sicilian, and all this is theory. Here I was doubtful whether to go for bishop d6 or d6. Okay. Bishop d6 is what Gelfand played 2 times here, and I wasn't sure if he knew it or not. But then I decided to make it interesting at least. I thought d6 would be boring. D6 bishop e6. I felt bishop d6 will be at least more interesting.
Sure.
So after 5 minutes I decided and I played bishop d6. Then I realized he doesn't know this position much. Okay, at least because he calculated for a long time. That's what I felt. And bishop b8 is what Gelfand played. I remember checking this quite long back ago. I didn't I wasn't exactly sure, but I knew that bishop b8 is one of the right move here.
Okay.
Also bishop e5 has been played by Gelfand if I'm not wrong. But I don't know, it's been really long I checked this variation, so but I just felt it will be interesting to play this and see how it goes.
Certainly very complicated. I mean, we even looked, we didn't know the theory. We were even wondering if white could take on f4 and with the bishop, and if g5 sack the exchange.
This doesn't work for sure. When I checked this line, I remember checking this and as far as I remember, it should be better for black.
Okay, right.
This for sure doesn't work. I don't know if this is the right. I think this is the move.
Yeah, we were trying rook takes f6 there and knight f5.
Yeah, I remember this for sure that it doesn't work.
Okay, okay. So good preparation as well then.
Okay, it's I did this very long ago and it worked.
Yeah, and it's always hard remembering the stuff. So.
But I felt okay. I didn't remember exactly, but I felt it's interesting at least to give it a try.
Definitely, yeah.
So here, okay, nd5 is also nothing. I can just play king h8, and this again, it's I think I'll be happy with this position at least.
Yeah. Okay.
So ed5 is crucial. fg6. I think this is the crucial point when he took bishop f4.
Yes.
So here I took quite long time because I liked this move, and I started making, for example, if he has this f4.
Yep.
Okay, if he takes rook into f4, then it's easy. It's nothing. I have queen d4 threat, and whatever happens, I can just take this. So it's better for me.
Okay.
So he has to take this.
It's quite a crazy position.
Yeah.
So.
I checked this for quite long time, and I felt at least minimum I would be having a draw. At least that's what I concluded finally, and I decided to go for this bishop b8. I checked this position, and here I wasn't sure about knight f2 and queen f2.
We spent a long time wondering about this, and we were thinking about c7 afterwards and thinking this is just very strange looking position.
Yeah, even I wasn't sure, but I felt it's quite interesting. Okay, even if it's, I couldn't really understand what's happening. Okay, material wise I'm fine, but after c7 my rook is paralyzed there.
Yes.
So I wasn't really sure if this is fine or what exactly, but I felt at least in the least I have this queen f8 and bishop d7 and rook b8.
Aha, okay. So you can give some material like this.
Yeah, so I felt at least this I have, and I should be doing fine.
Okay,
that's a good defense. That's where I decided to go here. But when he played king g1, here I wasn't sure. Okay, I took quite long time. I was down to 16 minutes.
Yeah.
But I wasn't sure if knight d3 really works.
Okay.
I checked this, knight d3, king h1, knight f2. First of all, even queen f2, I wasn't sure if my pawn on d3 benefits me or him.
Okay.
And also at the same time, after king g1, knight g4, king h1, rook this, c7. I couldn't judge this position at all.
Yes, very, very complicated.
Yeah, I couldn't judge, nothing concrete, and I felt like white's development is good now, and it will take some time for me to take the c7 pawn, so that's the reason I decided to repeat.
Yeah, and of course that's not a bad result against Wesley So with black. So I mean, you can be quite happy with that one really, and it was a very interesting game.
Yeah, I tried in the end if I could find something, but I couldn't really judge this position. That's why I decided to repeat the moves.
Take the draw. Okay, good stuff. And is this your first time in the Isle of Man?
No, this is my third time.
Third time. You played the last 3 years.
Yeah.
We played last year, didn't we? So, so that was a bit of a silly question. And how did you find the Isle of Man?
I really like this place. Actually, I wasn't supposed to come here. I had the Grand Prix, so I had to cancel my entry. But then luckily my Grand Prix got moved. So I immediately decided to come here because it's one of the best tournaments. Like every year, I would like to come here.
Good, good. And you've had a really good year in chess. I mean, you seem to have, you know, you've gained rating and had some very good victories. I mean, how has this been for you the last year?
Yeah, it's quite good to win a few nice games and also tournament. It gives extra confidence. But I would like to go into the next level, and today when I was paired, I decided that whatever happens, I would like to give my best and see how much I can do. So relatively, I think for today I'm quite happy.
Good. And do you have any sort of goals in mind at the moment?
Yeah, to win World Championship. At the same time, I would like to compete in like the strongman tournaments, and I would like to do well there. Okay,
great. So if there's any organisers out there, then invitations, that's what you're looking for as well.
Yeah, definitely. I would love to play invitation strong tournaments.
Brilliant, okay. Well, thanks a lot for joining us in the commentary room, and wish you the best of luck for the future rounds.
Thank you.
Goodbye.